Okay, hold on. We're getting there. We've started streaming. It's good. It's 2:00. It is about time that we started streaming, but it's just gone at 2:00. 2 minutes to 2 p.m. and we are here on the Sunday service already. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their confinement, and that you are confining yourself. You should be confining yourself at the moment, and not going out and interacting with lots of people. And straight away a shout out to Tommy Turfmold, who has already donated some money by Super Chat. Tommy, you are a legend. Before we even started, he assumed it was going to be worth €10 by Super Chat. You're very good. Thank you very much, Tommy Turfmold. Everybody's home. Everybody's hanging about. We've all just eaten, lazing about like big lions, hanging and waiting to see what's going to happen next. It's been altogether a strange week. My car this week has been the Mitsubishi L200, which is the 4x4 unit. Would be, a lot of us will remember it as like Barbarian or Shogun or one of those kind of older days, big 4x4 yoke. It's a pickup truck, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant car, probably the best car Mitsubishi's ever made, I would say. But then it's full of flaws as well, like every other car at the moment these days. People try to cut down how much money they're trying to get from these cars as they're selling them. Loads of people are already here. People have been asking questions for a long time, since like 12:10. Johnny Dove came on and said people are treating this like a holiday. Both parents out shopping, with the whole zoo of kids hanging out of the trolley, giving an inch and taking a mile. Yes, this is true. People are thinking that this is some sort of holiday that they're on, when in actual fact it definitely is not a holiday. This is not the time to take a holiday. This is not the time to be complacent about everything, sitting at home doing absolutely nothing, like me. You can stay at home all you want. You can buy beer, buy slabs of beer and bring it home, bring wine home, bring what you want home, but just do it at home. Stop doing it in the pub. We don't want to go down the route of the Italians, of the Chinese, of the Spanish currently. Spanish are going through it as well. I've left a link in the comments down below to the HSE, direct HSE advice on coronavirus now, and how you're supposed to treat yourself and what symptoms are and all sort of stuff. So I'm no medical professional, but it is the topic of conversation this week, so I thought I'd put it in and allow you all to vent about it. Of course we can talk about cars and whatnot as well. We always do eventually start talking about cars, but just, everybody's on with nothing better to do with their time, so it's time that we all started talking and taking it seriously. I saw lots of pictures last night of Temple Bar and tourists and tourism in general, and people going out to the pub and things. That's where the problem begins. We think it's some kind of party time. We think it's time to go out and just enjoy ourselves, but it really isn't at the moment. Dan Jem is here. Hey Bob and everyone else. Yeah, it's all very doomy and gloomy, but here's a thought. How about we stick to chatting about cars? But apart from that, stay safe everyone. We're all safe. We will definitely talk about cars. We always talk about cars, but we also talk about, like last week was International Women's Day. Not at all to do with cars, but women are in cars. And coronavirus is also in your car. So just remember that. I've been trying to arrange all day with other journalists about our swapping of cars tomorrow, so we're not in the same place at the same time. So we're picking up cars and dropping off cars, and the cars have a chance to be cleaned in between. And I'm going to be bringing some wipes with me to wipe the steering wheel down and the gear shift and gear knob and all that. I know it sounds like really overkill, but I don't want to bring home coronavirus. Chances are my family will be okay. We're all fairly young, fit and healthy, so we should be okay. But it doesn't mean I don't want to give to my neighbours who may be not as fit and healthy as me. So we have to look after each other first, and then you look after yourself as well. Robert's time lapses says, hi Bob, hi chat, how are you getting on? These are all from ages ago. It's like 1 o'clock today. Anyway, what's your opinion on the schools and colleges closing down? I'm hearing mixed opinions on the whole time. Mostly bad, as Johnny Dub said, given an inch took a mile. Well, kids aren't very susceptible to this. If they get it, to coronavirus, if they get it, it'd be very mild, probably very mild symptoms in general, but they're brilliant carriers, right? So they're great. They don't wash their hands as much. They tend to work in big gangs, and when you put all the kids into a warm schoolroom over the day, the chances are to spread like wildfire and they bring it home to their parents, right? My birthday was on Friday. My daughter's birthday is tomorrow. My other daughter had a birthday party to go to on Saturday. All of that was cancelled. All the play days are cancelled. Everything about going to visit other people is cancelled, just because it's much safer to do so. It's just safer in the long run. We just get through this 2 weeks. If we do all of the right things in this 2 weeks, There's no reason to think this will last much longer beyond that. We won't be able to get back to work. And I know, I'm a freelancer. I know, it's hard to deal with this sort of thing because all of a sudden work is gone. Work is just dried up for a lot of people. And a lot of people don't have a wage, so they don't come home with a wage every single week. So they don't work, they don't get paid. That's pretty much every business and every self-employed person in the country. Byron says, evening. Anybody doing anything exciting? Off the social welfare office on Monday. No, that's basically it. Pretty much, that's the story for a lot of people. Now, big problem as well is going to the social welfare office will eventually result in people transmitting the virus between each other as well. So, we're in a weird situation. Very, very strange situation. I would phone social welfare offices and things on Monday because these guys, they have to go to work as well. The same people who work there have to serve you every day and do their stuff as well, so they got to get home to their kids. So just bear in mind, if you're going anywhere, I would phone ahead at all times. Derek Norris says, afternoon Bob, it's all up in the air at the moment the way things are going. Not really. We can predict pretty much with certainty which way we're going to go because we're going to follow pretty much identically what has happened in Italy or Spain or France or Germany. The reason we're seeing, so it's not all doom and gloom, okay? Chances are the HSE was predicting 2 million people being infected and that 80% of those would be very mild to mild cases. Now that means a high temperature and a cough. That's your two things you're looking out for. So high temperatures and coughs. You wake up in the morning and you've got a high temperature and you've got a bit of a cough, you've got coronavirus. Relax, take it easy, lie in the bed, get a cup of tea, read the paper. Maybe don't read the paper. Maybe go online and pay for a newspaper. Maybe go on and watch a YouTube video for a few hours. If after 3 days the temperature's still there, it's getting worse, you're not feeling very well, you might have flu, you might have a different version of coronavirus, whatever it is, and you'll need maybe treatment. So it's time to call to your local GP. The HSE have phone numbers on their website. I've left a link for that down below as well. Check with that while you're at it. Steve O.C. says, hi all, think how fast we can drive on motorways with no speed vans or rush hour traffic. Change the M50 lane, the Autobahn and Nürburgring. They'll be out. No social isolation in the back of those vans, boys. Most people are still going to be at work. Some people won't be at work who will work in an office environment where a lot of, you're sitting in air conditioning and you can't get away from the people beside you who might have coronavirus. But look, it's not all doom and gloom yet. James McBratney says, enjoyed your appearance on a Ray Darcy show. Thank you very much. A few weeks ago, Bob. That was class exposure for you, or do you receive a fee? I think it's really unfair for freelancers when they don't get paid for work. That is a really good point, James. I do get paid for that. I do get paid for all of my appearance times. I have never really worked for free. You help people when they need help. I get that part. You might help another journalist do something, or you might help someone along to help that you're going to get where you want to go. But everything where I'm directly related to, or where I'm going on, like Ray Darcy Show or Midlands 103 or here on YouTube, wherever, it's paid. It has to be. How else do I pay my mortgage? How else do I pay bills? Like, those things keep happening. If you're a freelancer out there and you're working for free, I'm sorry, but you're an idiot. I really do mean that. I can't help you. I can't do anything for you. If you continue to work for free, you eventually make me look like an idiot for charging for it, okay? So I come storming in behind you and I quote 100 quid and you're free. Which one do you think the guy's going to put on the radio or put in a newspaper? Which one do you think is going to happen? But how long can you do it for free? How long can you do that for 6 months, for 12 months for free? If you can, you probably got another job. That's not how freelancing works. Freelancing picks up jobs everywhere. I talk to a good few mates of mine now who are freelancers, and every one of them have literally fallen through the floor of their jobs because coronavirus now has cut travel. You can't go to places, big events are closed, lots of car shows are gone. They just all died of death. So a lot of those guys aren't going to get paid for months. That's usually what happens. You're invoicing for stuff you did. Like, I've invoices outstanding from January for work I've done. Small, little invoices, but they all mount up to being something at the end. You have to have a whole heap of hats on to try and make money as this. I'm very lucky in that I own my own outlet. So this YouTube channel is my YouTube channel. No one else owns it, or no one else has shares in it. I don't owe percentages to other people or anything. A lot of people out there don't. They work for publications like Top Gear, Fifth Gear, whatever the publication is. They don't own their own one, so it can be really, really hard at this time of the year when something happens, but particularly this time where it becomes very difficult. While the Red Darcy show is really good exposure for me, I do get paid for any appearance. RTE pay. That's the RTE. You can complain about them all you want, but honest to God, if I was on Today FM, I probably would never get paid for it. Never. You'd struggle to get paid for that sort of stuff. And it's not just Today FM, it's all radio stations, outlets. They expect you to go on as the expert and talk to people and fill their content and fill their time, 5-10 minutes. And then when you come to talk about getting paid, they go, oh no, this is just good for your exposure, isn't it? In fairness to RTE, everything I've done on RTE, I've been paid for. Everything. And they've always been good like that. So as much as I might complain about their content and about the fact that I can't seem to scale up for them, I'd still say that they're actually pretty good at paying out. Johnny Dubb says, doing a bit of clear out at the shed at the moment. If anyone needs a pressure washer or attachments, give me a shout. A few Laver and Karcher style lances there. I actually have I got a Karcher washer? I can't remember what it was. I seem to remember when I started this first, somebody sent me a great big washer. I don't remember who it was. I really don't remember who it was. Somebody sent me a Karcher power washer, and I still have it. It's outside. I still use it to clean cars with. It's great. By the way, afternoon, Bob and Alex. Thanks to Downs. Zdenko's here. Afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's having safe and healthy. Stay safe, stay healthy. Particularly stay healthy. Eric Rochford. Afternoon, all. Hope everyone's keeping well. Keep calm and just be sensible about everything that's happening. Now for some car chat and a bit of distraction. That's always good. You need a bit of distraction. That's Jerry Wicklow. Afternoon, Bob and chat. See SpaceX. Whoa, that's what they're hopping on me. Sorry, I'll come back up now in a second. We're getting there. Afternoon, Bob and chat. I see SpaceX forgot to matches, so no lift off today. Everyone's gone home. Afternoon, all. Hope all is staying safe. Niall, that's from Mark Turner Smith. Niall Burke says, good afternoon, Bob and gang. Smurf 2106. I can't believe there's 2,105 other Smurfs on YouTube. But anyway, hi Bob, I'm working in a Nissan dealership in Mayo. Do you think the garages will be told to close? I don't know about told to close, but it would be sensible. I don't think anyone's going to come and buy a car off you, and that's being dead honest with you. You might have some service things, but the problem is you're making this long term worse, right? So the herd immunity is the thing they're going on about in the UK, and technically that's what we want to do as well as herd immunity. We want to control the length of time it takes to make the herd immune. Whereas the UK want to condense it all down, just make everybody sick now. So how does herd immunity work? That's an easy one to answer. So what you do is you take a healthy herd, you give them an illness, and the weakest ones will die. Okay? The ones that survive will be the strongest ones. That's how herd immunity works, essentially. Some of the stronger ones will get very sick, but they will recover. And when they all recover, they will all be now technically immune from what just happened to them in the future. But in human terms, we are very quick to get sick. So when we get sick, our fever starts, we burn off what's inside us, and we go back to normal as if it never happened. But the problem is, if you all keep working, it's going to be weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you'll all still be getting sick. If we all stay home and get sick on our own, then it'll be fine. We'll fly through this, and it'll be all over, and be back to normal within 3-4 weeks. So continuing to work is a difficult one. It really is. Your boss needs to take a big decision. A lot of pubs are closing in Laois. I know that because I was watching this morning on Twitter. A lot of outlets are closing in Laois. A lot of jobs are closing down. Work is being shortened. People who are on part-time are being told to stay home. People aren't going shopping unless it's food shopping in now. And look, stop with the stockpiling things. You can stockpile a bit, sure, no problem with that. If you want to stay at home for a week, buy a week's worth of shopping. Even buy a month's worth of shopping, that's fine. But it doesn't mean you need to buy a pallet full of toilet paper, because it's not going to help you, okay? You're just shortening everybody else. I noticed yesterday a lot of kids' medicines are disappeared off the shelf as well. There's very little Calpol to be gotten and things. You don't need to stockpile Calpol. Really, honestly, kids are probably the ones that are in the least danger here. It's people with COPD and it's people with cystic. Okay, I think we're back on. Just trying to get it running again. We had a technical issue there. Massive power cut all of a sudden. It's coming though, I think. I hope. We're all working. Is it working? Are we back? Did I kill it? I think we're back. I think we're back. I'm back! Yes, I'm back. Sorry. We had a power cut. A massive power cut. And had to reset everything and get it all back on. So it was a killer. That was a killer. Weird. But I'm back now. So yes, this should hopefully last. I thought it was the end of the world here. I thought that was it. We're done. Coronavirus has us. It's turned us off on purpose. That was wild. Pure panic there for a few minutes. Because I couldn't see it on my phone. I couldn't get anything to work. Nothing wanted to turn on for me. It was a real pain in the ass, that was, I have to say. Anyway, it's all coming back to normal. Terribly sorry. Good God, there's a lot of you watching today. Click the like button, please, on the way in, just so everyone knows it's here. And hopefully our power units will stay up and everything will work fine. I don't know what the hell happened there. I'm only coming in I missed out a pile of chat in the middle of that, right? So some of the chat is now missing on me, but I'm going to try and keep up this version of it as much as I possibly can. Sorry, I will add on a few minutes at the end of the live stream, just so everybody's here. I'm picking up from 2:07 p.m. as the last one that's on the screen here, and it says she's been told to work from home from Monday. Is there no end to this madness? Says Hellhound. Everybody's trying to work from home. Look, if you can work from home and get paid for it, you're sorted. In a way, you should be fairly appreciative that you've got some level of goodness from a boss there somewhere. Because there's a lot of people who are being sent home who were on 0-hour contracts, maybe weren't guaranteed particular amounts of hour every week, and all of a sudden they have nowhere to go and no job and no money coming in either, and now are confronted with going to the dole office on a Monday. Or something of that line. There's no shame in getting a dole, by the way. I've been on the dole. Absolutely no shame in that whatsoever. If anyone ever tells you that that's wrong, you're mad. It's why you pay your PRSI. It's why you pay taxes. We have the best support system in the world when it comes to when you lose your job here. It's one of the best in the world. It might be slow, but I can tell you now, you will not be poor if you work it properly. The talking point is churches are still open and people not understanding and going, thinking the Holy Communion won't pass. The virus and churches being full of people doesn't help. I don't think mass is happening here in Ireland. I'm not a mass goer. I'm not into religion at all. I don't go to mass or do any sort of stuff, so I don't know. But I did see a few tweets. There's a few priests on Twitter that follow me there and follow me on Instagram and stuff, and they were saying that their churches they're going to close. They're not doing mass. So maybe. Barnaby Hope Grant says time is money, man. Mick Mulcahy's here. Come on, Mick. A wee bit of advice on boosting the immune system. Juice lemons and fresh ginger, add to sparkling water and sugar and drink daily. That's probably good for your digestion. It probably does next to nothing to your immune system, and there's absolutely nothing you can buy from anyone out there in a health food store that's going to get you through this. But there is things out there to make you feel better. Things like a cup of tea would make you feel better. Apple cider vinegar and a drop of water is a very nice little drink to have. Very refreshing, and it's good for the immune system in that it goes into your gut and helps the gut system, the gut bacteria, be stronger and more acidic. And that's pretty good for you, okay? So, because I've seen a few tweets where people are trying to sell their health food diet stuff, things that they sell to make you feel better and somehow cure corona. It's not going to do that. But it might make you feel better. So, yes, Barnaby Hope Grant saying that juicing the lemons, fresh ginger and add to sparkling water and sugar is very good. Don't know about the sugar, but is probably very good for you, make you feel great. For a little bit, but it's not going to cure if you've got coronavirus. But anything with vitamin C will make you feel better anyway. Juice an orange, eat bananas, that kind of stuff that keeps you feeling better. Try to stay away from things like chocolate, Easter eggs. These things only make you feel better in a very short space of time, and then it's gone. It doesn't help you anymore. GP O'Rourke says, hi Bob, collecting a new car on Thursday, ordered before Christmas. Feel guilty now with all going on. Ease my conscience, please. Sure. No problem. Bring wipes with you, number one. Most of these guys are still in work. Most garages are still open. I know Water's garage is still open. They were sending me messages. Mallin's here in the town still open. The boys, the Vincent and all the boys up and Downey's up there are still open as well. So they're all still open and still working. It'll be fine. They'll all be open tomorrow doing your car. There's nothing to feel guilty about. Just make sure you bring some wipes. You bring some hand sanitizers. Not great for you, lads. Honest to God, soap and water, hot water particularly, is much better for you. Wash your hands before you go out. because the soap residue stays on your hands. The oils, the fats from the real soap stays on your hand. So hand sanitizer is only good when you've gone into a shop and you touch something, you come back out and you put hand sanitizer on because you can't wash your hands. Soap and water is much better. So bring some baby wipes, bring something to wipe the steering wheel and the gear stick down, stuff you're touching, and get your car home and give it a clean out. That's it, pretty much. Mini Egg says, how did your time go with the Superb? I don't have it yet. Superb's not for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't think, till I have that. When I do, I'll be doing a full review, but also a full fuel consumption test will be done on that car. It says 1.5 to 1.9 litres per 100 kilometres. I will be putting that to the test. You better not be lying to me, Skoda, because that's going to be terrible. It'll be headline news if I don't get at least like 1.9 to 2 litres per 100 kilometres. Seriously. Mark O'Reilly says, hi Bob. Hi Mark, how are you? Toby Boy says, sorry Toby, I was just checking my emails, but sure no one sent me money by PayPal. You can send me money by PayPal. Huge generous donations over the last couple of weeks. Thank you very much to everybody who's donated. I have got new equipment on order. The coronavirus has absolutely put a catapult straight through everything I was going to do over the next couple of weeks about getting new equipment, but I definitely have some stuff on the way to me right now. Deliveries are kind of delayed. There's stuff coming from China. There's a lot of that going on. So, but thank you all very, very much for your huge donations. They've been wonderful over the last couple of weeks and hugely necessary. Every bit of it's been necessary. And I have to shout out now to John Coleman, who is one of our most regular submitters of money to the channel here. Thank you very much, John. You're very, very kind. Please keep it coming in as much as you can. Obviously, everybody's in a bit of trouble at the moment, but I still have to upgrade a lot of equipment. It's coming though. It's okay. But this is 2 hours for free on a Sunday. Every Sunday to help pass your time. God, there's a lot of you watching today. This is really good. Thank you very much. But of course, it's totally free. All I need you to do is to hit the subscribe button, actually. I made a great mistake the other night of reading through some comments on another forum the other night. I've become the topic of conversation on certain forums, and that's okay. That's all right. The channel's getting very big now. I'm probably stepping on a few toes of people within the car industry or other journalists who maybe don't like the idea of me being here. So it's great because it's my own publication. You see, they can't get me fired. Am I fired? No, I'm not. This is me. See, I'm the boss. Toby Boy says, hi Bob, I'm thinking of changing from a 2006 Ford Focus to a Peugeot 208. What are your thoughts on petrol Peugeots? Peugeots are actually pretty reliable. The engines of a Peugeot are okay, and usually the kind of mechanical stuff underneath, if it doesn't rust, it'll be fine. The problem with Peugeot is electrics, and it has been with French cars since forever, right? Peugeot, Citroën, they just seem to, I don't know whether to use, Renault is the same, I don't know whether to use cheap connections or to use cheap something, but something in them. All of us have been driving on the road at some point behind a Renault or a Peugeot or a Citroën, and when the person indicates the brake lights come on, you've seen this, I'm sure you have over the years, right? It doesn't happen as much anymore, but it still happens from time to time. It's usually more of an electrical problem that happens to French cars, and sometimes the plastic inside becomes a little brittle and rattly inside the car. So it's not so much the engines. They're actually quite reliable when it comes to engines, petrol and diesel, from Peugeot, Citroën, Renault, the whole lot of them. Their engines are pretty good. The Renault DCI engine's been going for donkey's years. There's a 1.5, 1.6 in Nissans and all sorts of stuff. So they're reliable enough in that respect. The petrol engines should be fine. The fuel economy should be okay. Just be careful of the plastics and the electrics. If there's even a sniff of something even slightly burnt inside the fuse box, burn the car and walk away, because it's going to cost you a fortune. Lorna Edgar, so are you just staying in your house, Bob? Yes, wherever possible. At the moment we are staying inside the house. We have been out to go shopping, but we've gone directly to the shop, not interacted with anybody. We got what we needed and we got out with a list as close as we possibly could to get in and out as fast as we could. It's not so much, I wouldn't be too worried about anyone in my family. I have young kids, so I have an 11-year-old and now tomorrow a 10-year-old. She'll be 10 then. And there's myself and a wife, we're both under 50, so there's no problem with us. I don't think we're fit enough and hardy enough to be able to withstand even if we actually got virus, but I don't feel any symptoms at the moment. I have no headache, no temperature, I have no cough, I have no nothing, so I don't expect we're going to be much of a problem. We will be staying home as much as is humanly possible right now. We will be going for a walk outside though. We will be keeping our distance from other people. But we certainly won't be cooping up inside the house permanently trying to play video games and stuff. We will definitely be going outside. So, like, it doesn't mean we're not at the Italian level here yet. If you stay away from each other, you can shout across the street at somebody. Okay? You're not going to infect someone standing across the road from them. You're not going to infect someone walking up the street, chances are, because most of this virus and bacteria likes to have an enclosed environment to work in. So the test that they've done has been on things like airplanes and buses, anywhere that you're contained in an area with somebody else. So we'll be trying to stay away from people, but by distance, be able to talk to them from across the way, you know. My God, there's a lot of you here. So click the like button. Keep clicking the like button, please, everybody. It's not a big ask to be able to click the like button. If you want, you can click the subscribe button. And if you really want to, you can click on the little bell beside subscribe, and you can be notified whenever we have a live stream. If anything useful happens over next week, because I'm going to be stuck here in the house, I'll go live again maybe another time during the week for the crack. We just talk about something else entirely. Robert Van Zandt says, people, idiots. Clearing the shelves, embarrassing and selfish. Yes and no. People have a right to be a bit nervous. And unfortunately, the way Leo Varadkar, our Taoiseach, or our Prime Minister, if you're not from Ireland, but the way he put it on the stream he did from Washington was actually very threatening. It felt like the end of the world was coming. It felt like we were going to be in real trouble. Before he had stopped talking, the shop shelves were emptying. Everybody thought we were going into lockdown situation. Older people particularly are very nervous, lads. You have to understand, the vast majority of people who were in trouble from this are over 70, you know, in their late 60s, early 70s. They're the ones who are in real trouble. You know, they don't have a system as healthy and as fit inside their body as they should be. If they're massively overweight or already have some lung problems, maybe they were a smoker when they were young and now they have lung and breathing problems, this is a real fear for them. This is a genuine fear. We as younger people have to protect them. And so it is kind of embarrassing when people, especially when young people, single couples go to the shelves and take bottles and bottles and bottles of wine and crisps and all that, and you're kind of going, you don't really need to do that. And then go home for 24 hours and go out that night to the pub. It doesn't make any sense. Just get what you need. Maybe get a little bit extra. Bit of dry pasta, some rice, a few passatas, chopped tomatoes. Don't worry about meat so much. You can easily enough freeze meat like chicken and mince and things. You can freeze that the last couple of weeks in your freezer. Cook things thoroughly. Get some eggs. Stuff that's going to go off. You know, you're not going to be able to have 2 weeks worth of eggs in your house. It'll go off over time. So, so take it easy. Just get enough that you need to go through. But have a little bit in reserve. We have chickpeas and black beans and kidney beans and coconut milk and things. We've had them all along. We always stored them. Always had loads of them. So it's worth your while having that sort of stuff inside in the fridge. Or inside in your cupboards. VW fan says, alright Bob, do you know if you can drive in heaven? I'll be road racing half the day, I reckon. Keep up the good work. Love the channel. It's always a good way. I would imagine if you've any event on at the moment, check. Probably cancelled. Almost everything will be cancelled at some point. So just bear in mind that there'll be a hell of a lot of events that will not go forward. I'd say the amount of people watching right now, I'd say it's going to be one of the busiest days on the channel. 2, it's because of you lot that this channel still exists. And 3, it's because of you lot that I probably had a power cut a few minutes ago. My poor little laptop tripped off something and set the entire town into darkness. Mark Turner Smith, cycling racing season, road or mountain bike XC will now be dead for the first part of the season. It will if it's an event. People will still go out and go cycling. In Italy currently, for the last week, to the best of my knowledge, people were going outside. If you were caught outside and you weren't on the way to the shop or you weren't on the way to the pharmacy, you get a fine, whether you're cycling, running or whatever, right? So that took out all exercise, which is a big problem, right? So you still have to get your exercise, guys. It's going to be good for your mental health. It'll be good just to do some jumping jacks or something in the backyard. Keep yourself mentally focused on what you're doing. Lift some weights. Do something here at home. Keep your mental state is very important to keep right. Don't worry, we will get through this. The end is in sight of this already. It sounds terrible, pandemic and all these big words and all the media is driving it forward. But actually, if we work together, this will all be over. We'll have herd immunity inside 3-4 weeks and we'll all be fine again. Don't worry. Loads of people tell me it's frozen there. Mark O'Reilly, what are your thoughts on a new Cupra Formentor? It's gorgeous. I think it's really nice. Really nice looking car and surprisingly different looking on the outside compared to everything else in the VAG stable. This is very true. Unfortunately, at the moment, I do find Audi would be nearly the most boring of the VAG group. And I know that sounds really harsh because I was actually supposed to go, believe it or not, last week I was supposed to go down to Spain with Audi. Spain, it's now closed. Anyway, just about didn't go. The Seat group is the ones that are doing probably the best part of the design. I know the designer there, I've talked to him there's actually an interview with him on my channel, and I have another one in the can there, another interview with him, who's a bit more rushed, but we've got a couple of interviews there with him, but he's a really nice guy, and they are doing cool things with the exterior of cars, whereas Audi seem to be looking like they're doing the same thing, photocopy and make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, and that's pretty much it. That's kind of the way they've always been. I know they still do probably the best interiors, but that's it pretty much. But I do like the Formentor. It's really, really pretty. The Elborn looks great as well, I have to say. It really does. Looks deadly. I'm hoping when all this settles down, we've been to the Winchester, had a couple of pints and everything's relaxed and all the zombies are gone. I do hope to go down to Barcelona and have a drive of the both the Formentor and the Elborn. I'm looking forward to the A3. There's a new Skoda Octavia I was supposed to go to this coming week. Going down to Sicily to drive that, but I'm not going on that one either because the whole country is shutting down. So those ones aren't happening. Jerry in Wicklow says, need a shilling for the meter. I did, yeah. My computer has coronavirus. I bet you there is probably a computer virus that's called coronavirus at some point. The Butcher says, froze again for the third time, back out and in again, another 10 seconds, then freeze. I know, unfortunately, it was actually a power cut that knocked off my Wi-Fi, and I tried to connect using my 3G, but 3G here is a waste of time in Portlaoise. All of them are, because Portlaoise is in this kind of it's in a weird sort of a dip, and we also have a maximum security prison here in the town, which I suspect has something to do with this, with the way we get money, or the way we get signals here. I was thinking of money because Raymond Grace sent some money as well by PayPal. You're very good. Noel Davison, you're so generous, lad. You really are. You're really good. As I said, this is free content for you on a Sunday. I'll entertain you as much as I possibly can. I'll give you the best advice I can. There is links down below to the HSE website, which is the official line of what you should do with this coronavirus and this outbreak. Up until 2 days ago, YouTube was not monetizing these videos, so I couldn't, if you put the word coronavirus on a title or even mentioned it in a video, they weren't sharing it out to anybody. But now they are sharing it out to people. Now it is a topic of discussion, so we're okay. It means people can actually come and watch and find out something from other people. If we all work together, particularly this little community that's here every week, which is a hell of a lot more of you this week than there was other weeks, but if we all work together, we can get through this very quickly. This won't take very long. Netflix was crapping out because everyone's watching it. Hope YouTube doesn't go crap as well. I'll have to have a talk to the wife and kids. YouTube won't. I am reassured by someone I know who works in the technical end of YouTube. So the one not to do with channels, they have to do with the actual metrics behind serving the videos out to you. For sure, there'll be no problem with YouTube. If the whole planet logged onto YouTube at once, it would stay up. But Netflix, on the other hand, maybe not. Maybe not. I might have to pay for Netflix now over the next couple of weeks. I'd say Netflix submissions are going to go through the roof over the next couple of weeks. We'll have to come up with some movie suggestions as well. I'm going to throw the one in with Outbreak. Actually, on TV last night was what was that movie? Hang on a second. What was that movie called last night on TV? Quiet Place. Good job I didn't come up with the name of it. A Quiet Place was on last night on TV. It was actually pretty good. What I saw, little bits of it. I was actually watching YouTube videos. I multitask. I put headphones on one ear, pull the other ear off, and I can listen to TV while watching something. I don't like doing one thing at a time. Mark O'Reilly says just refreshes all okay. Dropped off. There's loads he is now. Johnny Dove, remember the old dial-up would cut out, someone else made a call? It's like the good old days. This is true. His PC is self-isolating. You're right, it was self-isolating for a very short time. Is that the good old days when Bob actually started doing his streams on Sundays? It is. When I started doing this, it was probably about, I'd say if I got 10 viewers on a Sunday, I would have been doing pretty lucky. Last week there was only 6,000 of you watched last week, so it's kind of crazy how things have ramped up, and how a little tiny car channel in Ireland becomes this size. It's very weird. It's a very strange place to be. One of the biggest channels in Ireland, I think I looked up on Social Blade recently, like 450th in the country or something. Just sheer size, just the size of the channel. So that's not really reach. If you actually look at influence, if I influence one of you to buy a car, I've influenced you to spend 40, 50,000 euro at a time. So it's very weird. One car to me could be 500 watches to another influencer type. So it is like the beginning of it. Operator Hoot, I can just picture Bob yakking till he gets to the point of chat where you can tell him it's broken. That's true. That's exactly what I was doing. And I looked down at my phone and I was going, hang on a second. Because the laptop I'm running on has batteries, right? So, and they're charged up. So I never noticed that the power went off until I noticed the dishwasher wasn't running and all sorts of other things wasn't making any noise. It's all gone very quiet. What else we got? I'll fill in from diddly-eye, potato. There you are. EV driving. He's putting it in there. 22 dead in the UK. Now it's going up slowly. Basically, nearly every one of those, Derek, would be underlying conditions. Rather than actually dying from corona, the coronavirus has caused an irritation in their lungs, a larger infection in their lungs, which probably wouldn't help. So they have to intubate them and put oxygen into them and stuff to make them better. But some people just can't do it. We've had 2 deaths here in Ireland. We'll see how the next couple of weeks turns out. Like I say, isolation is a horrible word. Just not going to talk to other people. That also means don't bring your kids down to the park to play with 50 other kids down there, right? It also means when you're going to visit your grandparents, I don't have grandparents to visit, but if you're going to visit the grandparents, right, you probably shouldn't. I know that sounds really hard, really difficult for you, but they're the ones in the biggest trouble. So be very careful bringing yourself or your kids. You may feel well, but it takes a couple of weeks for the symptoms to appear anyway. So you're infected. You're probably infected already. Just bear that in mind. That should settle you down a little bit. If you think of that straight away, I'm probably infected already. Okay, so just remember that. If you think about that before you go anywhere, then you won't go anywhere. Patrick Keane says, hi Bob, I'm looking to change my car. I have primary health cert, which allows VAT and VET up to 10,000 euro off the purchase cost. I've been looking at an automatic CX-30, Mazda CX-30, yeah, okay, and a Subaru XV Lineatronic views. I wouldn't go with the Subaru, and I'll tell you why. There's nothing particularly wrong with Subaru. There's nothing wrong with the cars in general. I think they're okay. Most of them are fine to drive. The problem would come from resale values and just cost to run in general. It is a big car, the XV, a large yuck. I have one in a couple of weeks' time. I've had one before, but I've driven it before. I just think Mazda make nicer cars. They make more European cars for a start. And whether you like it or not, Patrick, unfortunately, you are European and you have kind of European taste because you're Irish, and that's the way we are here. We expect the same sort of standard as the UK. Now, unless you particularly like a Subaru, I wouldn't go near them. It's hard to convince me otherwise, and I do like the company that runs Subaru. I like the lads that work there, and it's all a lovely place, but the cars, I'm not sure whether the cars are up to the same standard at all. Mazda CX-30 is a fine car, lovely to drive, a little bit firm, but all Mazdas are, every one of them. They seem to go after the sporty line every single time, so they do drive nicely. Fuel economy is not bad on the modern engines they've got as well, and you can get an automatic one, which is quite nice too. So you should be fine with that. I wouldn't. I think you'd just burn your money. I don't know if you'd ever get it back out of Subaru when you go to trade it in a few years' time, even with 10 grand off it. I don't know if you'd ever get it back. Byron says, I wonder if this eat into 120 minutes. It needed an extension, not like he's going out anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, so I'm just going to stay here until we've caught up. We missed in about 15 or 20 minutes of the whole thing, but I'm back. It's okay, we'll keep going. So many of you watching now, this is wonderful. Another big day on the channel because you've nothing better to do but sit around here and listen to me talking about cars. That's brilliant though. Richard Cullen submitted some money by Super Chat. You're very good. Thank you very much, Richard. You're so kind. You can support the channel if you want to. It's up to you entirely. All you have to do really is subscribe. But if you don't want to subscribe, you just want to sit here listening, that's fine. It happens a lot. Also, I'll just shout out to myself, which is the Podbean podcast. So this goes out as a podcast every week as well. What I do is I put out last week's episode this morning, record a new episode today, and that goes out next Sunday on Podbean. So you can get that on Apple Podcasts, you can get that on Spotify, you can get that on on Podbean itself, which is chat there. Just do a Google for Bob Flavin in any of those, or do a search for Bob Flavin in any of those ones out there, and you will find Misha in there with the podcast. Now, it looks very stuttery on the screen. I'm a bit worried about it going stuttery again. I don't know what the hell it is that's stuttering there. I'm just going to check my settings, make sure I'm all okay. According to that, my CPU is okay, 39%. I've been live 25 minutes, 30 frames a second. It's YouTube. Stop it. Don't know why it's stuttering. But anyway, maybe hopefully the audio is not stuttering on you. No, we're all okay. 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Right, okay. So I'm answering questions from about 2:18 p.m. In other news, UK housing stock has increased by 22. Oh, that's terrible. Byron says cars killed more people this week, and diesel fumes have killed more than SARS. SARS was quite a mild thing in comparison to what's happening right now. Came from the same place though. They're called wet markets in China, which is a wet market means places that they keep live animals and are able to kill the animal in front of you. Okay, so you go in, you buy a live chicken, and they slaughter it there and then. That's where these both SARS, avian flu, whatever that was called, that version of flu, and this version has come out as well. So coronavirus has all come from the same place. I'm going to scroll through some of these. Loads of these are no 4G. If Bob appears to have issues, sign in the Czech hospital children's, please wash your hands carefully. If you don't, you may got coronavirus. You shouldn't die because of it, but there's no Wi-Fi here and you won't survive. This is true. Wi-Fi is the thing that everybody's chasing these days. How much Wi-Fi have you got? I have good Wi-Fi. I have really good Wi-Fi, which is able to support this all week. Are you all able to see that okay? Because that really does look like it's choppy there now. That's not scrolling properly either. Things are going weird. Everybody seems to be okay though. Nobody's complaining that there's something wrong with the Wi-Fi. Right, okay, so we'll go back up and we'll keep answering questions, and that's fine. That's alright. It just looked very choppy to me for some reason. My God, there's millions of you watching. What's going on? Where have you all come from? I love you though. Stay. Keep us company. Enjoy this. I'm still trying to find out where I just left off a second ago. Hold on, I'm catching up. Yes, here we go. Okay. Trevor Foggia says, "Hi Bob, I trust you are well. I am. Healthy as a horse. As I do everyone on this channel. God bless you all. Thank you. In the UK, we are being held to ransom by our idiot government. Debts here will rocket and they will do bugger all." I think they're just trying... So they've worded it wrong. I think it's actually after... Boris Johnson is a really stupid person in the way he words things. We're all after the same thing. The end result of this is what's called herd immunity, and that's where we all need to be. So basically, you get sick from it, a certain point of the population gets sick from it, and you recover, and you're fine, and now you're immune to it. Your body, your immune system will go bang, and it'll all be back to normal. That's what herd immunity is all about. Now, Johnson worded it really badly, and basically said that, listen, the people who die will just have to fall under sword, and that's the end of it, and away we go. Sounds terrible. But essentially, you need to self-isolate in the UK, the same as we're doing over here. You need to take precautions when you're going out in the street. Masks aren't terribly effective really in the street, but they will be effective in small confined environments where you're going into a shop or whatever, okay? Wear rubber gloves. Don't be afraid of putting on a pair of marigolds or something. You know, just keep yourself, keep this going very well, but also keep yourself nice and clean and tidy. Wash your hands with soap and water whenever you possibly can. Get some hand moisturizer. Look, we have them here as well. Same thing, hand creams and stuff, because your hands will dry out from the soap all the time being used on them. So, you know, make sure you use your hand cream every time, and it puts a little barrier on your hand as well, the hand cream. So just bear that. Those little simple tips to keep you all nice and healthy. Johnny Dub goes till he says people with COPD, and then nothing, sorry. EV driving. There once was a YouTuber called Bob. He spoke about cars a lot. One Sunday afternoon, when everyone got flu, he said some words and then stopped. Yay! Nice, I like it. You're back. I'm back. I am. Oh, they're all saying hi. We're all back. Now, I'm still seeing a lot of stuttering on my end, but I suspect that's coming from my end rather than your end at this stage. Trevor Foggy doesn't like Boris Johnson. That's true. Most people don't. Get a UPS. It wouldn't have helped because UPS would have had to run the Wi-Fi and everything else as well, so it wouldn't have really helped anyway. Plus, I just need to upgrade pretty much everything at this stage because it's so big now and transmitting to so many people is just insane. Like there's 210 people watching this minute. It's again going to be one of the biggest weeks we've ever had. So it's really cool to have you all aboard. Hit the subscribe button. Everybody should subscribe to stay with us here. Haven't got my armbands with me. Hi Bob, your thoughts on a 2017 BMW 420 X-Drive? Peter Cupid. I do love the 4 Series and particularly the Grand Coupe version now, but failing that, 4 Series is pretty good. The difference between 4 Series and 4 Series Grand Coupe is the wheelbase is a little bit wider and different suspension on the back, which makes the Grand Coupe a little bit more comfortable to drive than a 4 Series. But that said, 4 Series is still a very handsome car. X-Drive will keep you safe in the roundabouts, keep you safe on the junctions, and particularly when you get cold, wet winter's afternoon or a bit of snow or something, X-Drive is brilliant. Really, if you're a purist driver, you'd go after the rear-wheel drive version of it, but whether you want it to be rear-wheel drive or not, I don't know. Some people don't like the idea of that rear-wheel drive. They think it's better than it's 4-wheel drive. I think it's better as rear-wheel drive. Nothing bad to say about 4 Series. A great car. Absolutely brilliant. My God, there's so many new people here and half of them are chatting amongst themselves. Isn't that wonderful? Great to have you all though. It's really good. Robert's Timelapses says, did you go to any car launches last week when you were cancelled due to COVID-19? No, there was none. They were all cancelled. In fairness, I was cancelling them anyway. I didn't want to get back out of it. I actually checked in for the flight with Audi. And then Audi went, no, forget it, we're not going. So that was the end of that, which is cool. I don't mind. I really didn't mind. I didn't want to go. Spain at the time didn't look so bad. It was literally 3-4 days later and it just went wild. It just gone wild. Now it's basically closed down. So they were turning flights back and everything, yes, as far as I know. So I never actually went to anything. So no, I'm still healthy as a horse here. Michael Murphy says, I love chocolate. I'll eat what I want. Eat what you like. You can eat whatever you want, but advice is you should try and eat healthy. It's very easy when you're stuck at home. This is like Christmas on a long term with good weather. Very easy here at home to try and eat everything, and suddenly you thought you had 2 weeks worth of food, and suddenly you've got like 48 hours left. So it can be that way. Trevor Foggy has had too much wine. I did that last night. I had a bit of wine last night, just a little bit. Well, half a bottle. Well, little more than half a bottle. But it was my birthday on Friday. Like I'm entitled to that, aren't I? JV says, I think you should fill it up with petrol and electricity, drive until both are empty, and then you know the total range and therefore economy. That's exactly what I'm going to do, JV. I'm going to fill it to the absolute limit on both petrol and electricity. And then I'm going to drive for 100 kilometers and measure that. This is the Skoda Superb PHEV. I'm going to measure that, and then I'm going to drive with the battery flat. I'm going to measure that for 100 kilometers, and then I'm going to take those two and find the average between the two, and somewhere that would be the true fuel economy. I'll give all of the fuel economies out though. Michael Murphy says, why are people sending you money for it? Because this is free content and you don't pay for anywhere else. There's no advertising here. No car company pays to be here. There is no sponsor for this channel. There's just me doing this. So people like to support the free channel and the free, but nobody has to give any money. There is absolutely zero pressure to do that, but there is multiple ways to do it down below, including Patreon. If you don't want to do it, if you don't want to do a kind of one-off go, you can do it on a drip feed thing. As little as €1 a month, it'll do fine. Anything that keeps it going. And why are you ordering stuff for China? Because it's not available in Ireland, Michael. Sometimes you can get things a lot easier from China than you can from Ireland. Often you're getting exactly the same product, but you're getting it from China exactly where they get it from. You look in Tesco's or Dunn's or Lidl or Aldi, the chances are the majority of stuff they sell in their Sunday special buys comes from China. An awful lot of it. And so I get, particularly electronic equipment, there's an awful lot of electronic equipment you just can't get over here. Steady cams and there's what do you call them, 3D axe or 3-axis gimbals and things that just, you can't get them. Dom says, hi Bib. Hi Dom. Michael Murphy is a serial talker, but that's okay. He's asked, is it a car show or coronavirus? It's neither. It is a live 2-hour show, the only one of its kind in this country that I know of, and there is no ad breaks or anything. So nothing. I don't enable any monetization on this until after it's done. So only when the live stream is finished, if you rewatch it, you will see an ad on it. But other than that, there's no ads on this even. So, Toby Boy, thanks Bob, no problem. Derek Johnson, how bad do you think the economy is going to be, Bob? Well, look, we have to shut it down to start it again. So the big problem is we're going to get a lot of shrinkage now. As freelancers, and I'm one of them, self-employed, I'm one of them as well, everything has retracted. Everything has come into a little hole in the ground and is staying there. It's not really the business's fault. Business operates on knowing what's coming in the future. Every business does this. Every business can predict at some point or another how much they're going to make next month. But right now, no one knows how much they're going to make next month unless you're in the grocery business. So the likes of Lidl, Aldi, Dunn's, Tesco's, Super Value, these kind of businesses will have a prediction going on in the future because people still have to buy food. But nobody has to buy a car. Nobody has to buy clothes. So pennies are in trouble. They're all in trouble. And what happens if your employees get sick? You know, what if all the bin men went down in the morning? It's just a random one, right? So just make all the bin men sick and they don't come to work. What do we do with our bins? They'll stay for another couple of weeks, right? What if the next set of bin men are still sick? Okay, so the problem is we all need to just go indoors for a couple of weeks till this blows over. Then we'll all come back and go back to work. By summertime, this will all have blown over. Bet you. Has to be. Raymond Grace is here. Noel Davison, great work as always, Bob. We need online live engagement now more than ever. Reduces the cabin fever. Keep up the good work. By the way, belated happy birthday. Use PayPal for your Prezi. Thanks, Noel Davison. You're very kind. You're much obliged to you, sir. I'll check now, make sure everything's going okay on my PayPal and emails and all that sort of stuff. It is Ray Daly. You're very kind. Thank you very much. Ray Daly has sent some money as well by PayPal. You're also kind. You're also good. You're brilliant. I love you. But yeah, it is very important that we get the discussion out in the open. There's a lot of behind the scenes people putting posts on Facebook and they're half informed or misinformed or partially informed. Realistically, that link to the HSE website downstairs is the only authority you should be listening to. It doesn't matter if they're called Dr. Sir John Williamson or whatever the hell it is on Twitter, right? Shut up. That's not the person you need to listen to. I'm not here to give you advice about. All I want to do is cure your cabin fever is all I'm thinking about, right, for the next couple of weeks, is to and to cure my own cabin fever. You know, that's important as well, that I keep going. I'll have enough videos and stuff going out that'll keep everybody happy. Unfortunately, my last James Bond one, which was doing okay, they don't do very well. They're only like 1,000, 1,500 hits each. But the last one has been claimed, disputed by Warner Media. They say they own the rights to my video, so I can't monetize that video. So I spent about 12 or 14 hours of editing on that video for nothing. So that is life, unfortunately, on YouTube. That's how it works. You never know till you upload a thing whether it's going to go well or not. But anyway, that James Bond one, which wouldn't have made a lot of money anyway, but it's going to make nothing for me now. So they've disputed, and YouTube don't want to know. They don't care that it's Warner. Can you imagine that? Anyway, Mini Egg says, with all these small EVs coming to the market with, say, 120 miles of range in 10 years, what's it going to be like? More than 80 people going to pay 10 grand for new battery or scrap it? Not so cheap servicing. We don't know. Batteries are lasting longer than the generation 1. Yeah, sure, they only done a certain amount of cycles, but now batteries are lasting a hell of a lot longer. Now that's good, but the problem I would have with these small cars is we're making lots of new cars which won't last forever. They won't. We're going to end up continually changing these cars out the whole time. And that to me is a problem, that we continue to make new things all the time. We're always never fixing the oaks we have. I was reading this morning on Facebook, one of the lads posted there on our Facebook. We have a Sunday Service Facebook page, by the way. One of the lads posted there about not having a dipstick in one of the new Skodas, and it is currently on some of the BMWs. There's no dipstick either. You have to look into the computer system to find out how much oil is in it. I think that's a disaster zone. That is a road to nowhere, that one. That's a terrible one. God, that's awful. Like if your oil light and dipstick isn't checkable, how do you do anything? How do you check how much oil you've put in? Like, it says it's low, so you put in a quart of oil or you put in a pint of oil or whatever, and that's too much. How do you know it's too much without a dipstick? It's just stupid. Anyway, that's just me. There's Jim, the bus driver, has passed through driving his bus. Although he's probably not driving his bus. Isn't all the public transport shutting down as well, as far as I know? 1976 JDJH says, we are on lockdown here in, where's that? Fuengirola. Is that in Spain or Italy or somewhere? Watching and enjoying it. Thank you very much. This is like the home of the coronavirus. This is, everybody's coming here because nothing else to do. This is great. Keep coming. Mick Mulcahy's there as well. Notizium, I can't even pronounce your name. Enter my video. That sounds rude. Enter my video? What would you do when you got there? I can't enter your video. I could try, but I don't think I can actually get inside it. I can probably click things. I'm going to stick you in timeout because you said it twice. So now, and I've never seen your name before. And I remember everybody's name I've ever read out on this. I'll always remember if I haven't read it out before. I'll always remember that. I'll always check it. Nigel Gordon says an electric home charger is rated from 7.4 kilowatts. This is similar to an electric shower. 8 hours to charge your car and probably the same time for the shower to fill the bath. Both inefficient and costly. Not really. You see, no, that's not how it works. Okay, so an electric shower, yes, you're right. Electric shower is rated about the same, which is why you should always have a little. There's a switch that they put in when they're putting in your home charging unit. If you have an electric shower, they put in, I can't remember what it's called, a diverter or something. What it does is it shuts off the car from charging while you're having an electric shower. So you need to put the switch in. Please make sure you use a proper installer of electric charge points. The only one I know that's really, really good is Mulher Electrical. Those guys are total professionals. The only ones I can speak for, they did a job here for me. Des is a good guy. He's on Twitter. He's on YouTube here as well and Facebook. Des Mulher from Mulher Electrical. Checked him out. Anyway, that's not a paid placement. He just put in the charger here and I know he's good. But that's not how it works. So, an electric shower has a little ball, a little kind of a cylinder inside it. That cylinder is heated. The cold water gets forced into the cylinder heats like mad, and then it forces the hot water out the other end. The colder the water coming through, the slower the flow will be the other end. That's how electric showers have always worked. It doesn't matter if they're quiet or noisy, old or new, they're all basically the same. The heat of that cylinder is what's drawing the electricity, plus the pump inside to actually pump the water through in the first place. That's what's causing the electrical draw. So the more hot water you want, the more electricity that thing is going to draw. That's why it has its own trip switch as well, because it's huge. A huge amount of heat has to go through that. Whereas an electric car charges just by drawing current into the battery. Same sort of principle, but the draw never changes. It still stays basically the same, just trickles in over a few hours. So it's not really comparable in that respect. It's like you can compare an electric shower sort of to a hairdryer or one of those fan heaters or something. You can compare it like that, but not to an electric car. It doesn't quite work out that way. They're not really inefficient. They will be costly, more costly in the future to run than you imagine. 1976 J, I've read you up before. I'm a Peugeot freak these days. Are you? Enjoyed the latest fit in the 308, 3008 lockdown here in Spain. I see everybody's locked down. Nothing better to do but sit around watching an Irish lad chatting about cars and coronavirus and feeling sick and drinking wine. We should have a Sunday service where we all get drunk together. If we get stuck inside for long enough, we'll have a Sunday service where we all bring some alcohol of some sort or bring your fizzy drinks or something and we all sit down and have a drink, because none of us can drive others. We can't go anywhere. Anyway, Flawless J90 says we have to keep our trust in Jesus. Satan feeds off to fear. Oh, you put a comma in. Ha! Good thinking. We have to keep our trust in Jesus. Satan feeds off to fear. Yep, I'm going to keep my faith in myself and my trust in my family. And that's basically where that one's going to go. Fear is something that gets into your brain. That's a fear of the unknown, fear of things even that you know, fear of things you don't like doing. That's fear some way. To keep yourself insulated from it, surround yourself with people who are like you. That's really it. The ones that you want to be around. If you meet somebody and when you leave that person, you're always in a negative humor, cut them out of your life. You just got to stop seeing them. I know sometimes that could be your nearest and dearest, but you've got to keep yourself up here. You've got to keep moving forward all the time. Always think about the next thing. Always think about what's going to happen next. Don't think about what's happening right now. You just worry about how you're going to get to the next part. The next part is the end of this coronavirus is pretty straightforward. We just need herd immunity. Next 3-4 weeks, we're going to have that. We'll be fine. If we all pull together and pull our weight and stop treating this as an interruption of a summer holiday or a spring holiday, we can face this down and we'll get through it all together. Hitstar says it's hard to type with lockdown handcuffs on. Yeah, you should try it with the big gloves as well. Those big gloves, you can't touch people. Lock your granny up for 4 months. Unfortunately, Adrian MC, my granny's long since dead, so she's locked up in a cave. Steve O.C. I heard good bit of advice on the panic shopping. Buy enough for you and your neighbour. That way everyone will have enough. And if you're elderly, your neighbour has you covered. If you want to check in your neighbours, that's a brilliant idea, okay? Phone them, text them, ring the bell, stand back from the door. Older generation people are very scared, lads. We really have to be aware that they are very nervous, that they could get sick and, they could be in real trouble. So if you're going to ring the bell and check in your neighbours, ring the bell and take 10 steps back from the door. Just ask if they're okay. Tell them you're going to shop. Do you want me to get you anything? Will I get you stuff while I'm out? You go to shop, get the stuff, put it into a box, leave it at the front door, ring the bell and go away again. Go back 10, 15 paces and get them to pay. I'm not saying do it for free. Don't do it for free. But, get them to pay. Leave the money on the step or something for you, whatever it takes, but try not to make them any more nervous by standing at the door, looking in the window, or breathing on them in general. Try to get away from that. But yeah, check in your neighbours for sure, make sure they're all okay and nobody's feeling terribly bad. Damien Caulfield is here. Come on, Damien. Rob Carson says herd immunity within weeks. If 100,000 people get coronavirus every day for the next year in the UK, we might have enough people infected to have herd immunity. Well, it is escalating fairly rapidly. Herd immunity is the ultimate goal of any of these things that are not going to kill you. This is probably not going to kill you. The chances are you're not going to die from this. You might even just get some mild cough and a bit of a high temperature for 3 days and then it's over with. That's the beginning of herd immunity. That's exactly what we want. Over time, you actually need herd immunity so this doesn't happen again. It's pretty straightforward. You're on lockdown there in Spain. What's your view on Peugeots? On Peugeots are fine. Peugeots are okay. Peugeot makes some great cars. They also make some terrible cars, but they make mostly great cars these days. Unfortunately, they struggle. Like the 508 is it's the prettiest car, especially in the States. One of the prettiest cars on the road in Ireland. And yet it's full of problems, full of flaws. The steering wheel's got small. Not much room in the pedal box. There's just all these kind of little problems that are with them that could be easily fixed by a company that's that old, But that's it, really. Coach says, hi, sir, right here. Hi, Coach. Congratulations on being able to type that out. Maybe English is not your first language. That's okay. Maminsk says, apologies if you responded. I saw a 2003 BMW 330 ZHP M Sport package manual with 125,000. I'll stop you right there. You said the word manual with a BMW 320. Anyway, go on, yeah. For $4,000. Great condition. Your thoughts on reliability, fun factors, a weekend car. Great car. Manual, long throw in that gearbox, and it will break your hole to have to change gears and that thing all the time because it's a heavy clutch as well. But great car, good fun to drive. If it goes wrong, it's going to break your bank in half. It's one of those money suckers that just siphons money out of accounts all day. But still a brilliant car. If you get a good one in good condition and you look after it, it'll last you a lifetime. But if something goes wrong with the engine, it's going to hurt to pay that car to be fixed. They're they're hard to work on. All Beamers are, all of them. Beamer tends to fill the engine bay, so to get at anything, you're taking out bleeding headlights or pulling off wings and stuff off the car just to get in at the car. Even servicing from underneath, taking out the something off these yokes requires you to take a massive plate off the bottom of it. It's just they're a difficult car to operate in. Great cars, great fun to drive. Probably worth the $4,000. You're getting a serious car for that kind of money, but still, it's going to break your hole if it goes wrong. Coach says, hi sir, right here from India. From India? Congratulations on getting here. Well done. How's the lockdown happening over there? Is there coronavirus in India? Is it hurting there too? Simon Martin Anthony O'Maricon. That is a big name, Simon. Free Flicks movie app replacement for Showbox. Free Flicks, that's the name of it. I don't know that one. What's the yoke I do sometimes? I can't remember what it's called. There's a couple of places where you can't. There's things that are on in America, some series and stuff that are on in America, and they're really good. You see them recommended online, but you can't get them over here, so you have to get them somewhere. Anyway, a lot of people would use that Showbox on their phones here in Ireland to put it through a Chromecast so I can see it on TV. Not that I would know these sort of things. Hair Bras says, I watched Fully Charged, and they said the coronavirus was created by diesel cars. They would say anything is created by diesel cars. Fully Charged is everything is wonderful in its own way, is the way Bobby Llewellyn is, it is just this constant, everything is good, everything is nice, this is the latest tech, so it must be the best, this is the only way to go. Fully Charged is a thing that is very much sponsored. It's a very sponsored thing, so just be aware that everything you're listening to from Fully Charged has been bought and paid for at some point or another. I know recently they fell out with Johnny Smith and a producer there. I don't know the producer guy, but Johnny Smith has fallen out with them at some point or another, and it all got a little bit tetchy there online for a while. But I certainly won't. I would take everything the Fully Charged says at the moment with a humongous grain of salt. As they expand, they've got some problems. They've got some probably money problems as well at the rate of expansion at the moment. And Bobby Llewellyn thinks that everything is wonderful. Everything is wonderful. Georg Wolf Amrock sent money by PayPal. Thank you very much. You're very kind. You're all so kind. You can all do that if you want to, you know. It's lovely. It's really good. You just pay what you think is right. If you don't want to pay anything, then don't. It's entirely up to you. But hit the subscribe button, for God's sake, and the like button. There's over 200 of you watching at this very moment. A lot of the guys who are here in the comments would have been here all of the weeks that we've had, like, you know, 15 or 20 or 30 or 40. There's lads here that have been here since the beginning, and it's brilliant to see how many new people have come along and how many old people are still here and stuff. It's great. And I still get messages from the older generations among you who have been here for the longest. But hair bras, definitely. Diesel car may have created cancer of all kinds of things, but coronavirus is probably not on the top of the list there, I have to say. Mark Turner Smith says, think my comment got lost in power cut. Currently at home recovering from an operation on a back spinal tissue to remove a lipoma tumour, February 24th. May remember my failed op in 2019, not cancer. Good man, Mark Turner Smith. I know, you see, everybody hears the word tumour and goes, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Tumour is anything that grows inside the body that is not supposed to be there, but it is actually part of the body. So it's a cell that isn't dead. But cancer is a whole different ball game. So hopefully your feet stay up. And I know back problems. I have back problems. And I'm sure after getting an operation, the back must be killing you. So keep the feet up, keep the spirits up. Never a better time now at the moment to be staying in bed and relaxing and taking it easy. But get some exercise as well. Don't let it all go to waste. You know, move about. Make sure things are happening inside your body. Otherwise you get constipation and stuff when you sit still for too long. Dr. Love. That's a bit of information you didn't want now today, isn't it? Do you want me to send any toilet roll for you when you run out of my little town? No. I got some the other day. I took a picture of it in the back of the car, sent it to a mate of mine, and sent it at a tenner a roll. But yeah, no, I got some the other day. There's back in stock in the shops. It was one day where Irish people went bang. Oh God, better get some extra toilet roll and get some tissues and hand wash and gels and soaps and stuff. It'll all come back in. I know I've talked to a lot of logistic guys here in Ireland. I know I used to be a purchase and logistics manager. So I used to move. I'd buy pallets of stuff from Germany or Spain or France, wherever, and I'd get it moved to warehouses here and then get distributed out. It was the bathroom industry, but essentially it's part numbers. It doesn't really matter whether it's a toilet or a brake pad. It's still a part number. So you got to distribute the right place. But I still know a lot of the guys who are working in the logistics business and in the purchase manager business, and they're all telling me that there's no shortage of stock coming in. Lidl doubled their stock order from 1,500 pallets or so to 3,000 pallets or so, which is double the amount of stock. So they have no problem with stock over the next while. No need to panic, but it doesn't mean you need to visit the shop every day. Okay, so if you go and you normally, like sometimes we do, you go to the shop and you buy just today's dinner and you don't buy anything else. You just need to see exposing yourself to go to the shop every day. Okay, so try and plot it out and buy something that'll go for a week maybe. So you have less time in the shop, less time surrounded by individuals who might be sick and coughing all over you, maybe licking your face and things. You know, you don't want that. For God's sake, stop that sort of harassment in the shop. Sola Scriptura says, my wife and I booked flights to Iceland and then went to Ireland for May of this year. So you're the one who brought Corona. Oh, sorry. Now we're thinking of, he may not be going for our official honeymoon. January, February, March, April, May. The May is far enough away. I'd say you still be safe enough at the moment. We'll have kind of settled down at that point. We'll have got enough hot whiskey into us and a bit of brandy here and there, maybe a vodka or two, to keep the coronavirus at bay. So by May, we should be all relatively sobered up and pretty much back to work, I'd say. If we all do it right now. Otherwise, we're going to be like Italy and locked down for bleeding months, lads. Anthony Waring says, Ireland in lockdown. Only schools and colleges off, but I think life goes on. It does life go on. But you have to put a headline in for something. And I only have space for like 100 letters. So I had to put in, like, Ireland in semi-lockdown is more letters than I had room for. And it sounds horrible. And Ireland in sort of lockdown is a bit wishy-washy. So Ireland in lockdown is like a great headline, Sometimes I work for the Irish Daily Star, the Herald, the Sun, Hitster. Back in the day, we didn't have bog roads. We used to turn up newspaper on a string. I do remember that. I remember when I was younger. See, I'm 8 years younger than my next oldest brother, so I was dragged along to pubs. That's why I have tinnitus. I have permanent tinnitus. But I used to get dragged around to pubs and clubs and restaurants and all sorts, not restaurants, but pubs and clubs and stuff with my mother and father. But we used to go to the Harp in Kildare Town, and the toilet in there smelled like old men. And besides smelling like old men, the toilet roll was ripped up newspapers on a wire, on a coat hanger, on the wall, stuck onto it. And that was standard. That was fairly standard practice. So it was pretty normal back here, well, at least when I was younger, for that to happen. Yeah, for sure. But toilet roll, look, you can get portable bidets. I've seen them on Amazon and on eBay. A little bottle with a nozzle at the end. Bidet is very good, by the way. If you've never used a bidet, you should seek one out. They're very nice to use. Not that I want to talk about this, but anyway, there's another way of doing it. Baby wipes are there as well. Don't flush baby wipes. Put them in the bin. You can do that as well. There's always a way to do it. Mark Turner Smith says, this also dropped out with the recent operation in February 2020 and having asthma. Not sure if anyone's at risk really. 45 years old, so not the age of risk. But you got to watch that whole asthma thing. This is a chest infection basically that coronavirus turns out to be. So, you don't want to get that. You want to make sure that you can clear your lungs. So, make sure you've got a good cough bottle at home. What's that stuff you get? Peppermint, Vicks to open up the lungs and stuff. Make sure that's good. Dan in the Wild says, death is going to take a lot of you. Dan, I'm going to give you the best news I can possibly give you in the world. Death is going to take all of us. Just so you know. You're not going to be excluded in some or another. So that kind of fear doesn't really work, because you're all going to die. We're all going to die sooner or later. Let's not hasten it though and make it any quicker than it should be. Annie McAfee. Hi all. Flying visit from work, sitting in a heated tube with random strangers on it all day. See, there's Annie's up in Northern Ireland. He's a bus driver and also a moderator on this channel. He can come and kick your ass whenever he feels like it. But Andy is sitting in a bus with random strangers, which is exactly what we don't need. And it's, being honest, that they should all be closed. Public transport should be shut down. You should walk places. It's much better for you, much healthier. You shouldn't be getting into buses and tubes and things. It's not good for the lungs, boys. Not good for anybody. Sola Scriptura says, hello from Charlottesville in Virginia. How are things in Charlottesville in Virginia? I don't think I've ever been in Virginia. I have been over in that direction, but I've never been in Virginia. I know America is now looking at locking down, well, not locking down flights and things, but definitely starting to, I've seen queues of things this morning and people buying pallets of various yokes. Again, it's one of those moments where we'll remember in history that your neighbour went out and bought 2 pallets of toilet rolls and left you none. It'll be remembered. Richard Cullen, I think I read that already before, but just in case I didn't, Richard Cullen gave us some money by Super Chat. You're very good, Richard Cullen. Loving the show, Bobby says. Thank you very much. Mark Turner Smith, not sure how. Whoa, that's after hopping on me there. See, it pauses for a second just before it jumps forward. Just a moment before it goes, it pauses. It gives you the illusion as if it's not going to hop forward, and then it does. Mark Turner Smith says, not sure how British ambulance service is going to cope with paramedic support logistics staff. Myself fall ill and it's already at breaking point. Now that's the real crux of the matter right there. This is where the UK has deviated from everybody else. Okay, so in Ireland we're trying to lock everybody away in home so we don't all get sick at once. This is the problem. We're all probably going to get sick. But if you all get sick at once, including the already sick people who maybe have cancer treatments, or they've got chest infections, COPD, or they've got something wrong that's involving their lungs that they may need a hospital for. If we all get sick as well, then the hospital is stretched to an absolute limit. And what happens when the doctors get sick and the nurses get sick and the paramedics get sick? and they've all got coronavirus. Well, what happens then? They have to be quarantined too. So you've got this real problem. So if we slow it down, just get away from each other a little bit for a little while. Do it here on YouTube. Start your own YouTube channel and go live. Or someone else sent me a link to a thing the other day, which is very good on my laptop, which is like a conference call. Do it that way. FaceTime. My kids, Hannah, every evening gets onto her friends, gets 4 of her friends onto FaceTime, and they all draw pictures, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant to watch them all become kind of cartoonists in their own way. My daughter likes drawing cartoons. She's very good at it. Richard Cullen says, loving the show, Bob. Thank you, Richard. Carmaca, need to take my mind off the news. This is taking your mind off the news. The best way to deal with things is to get it out in the open. You can ignore it, and I do tend to ignore the news quite a bit. I do tend to just not want to take part in it. But right now, this is something that if we all take part in, we can cure. We can fix this ourselves. There is no medical intervention. There's no one going to come here with little injections, stick in your arm, and it's all going to get sorted. We're going to have to fix this. We're going to have to fix this, guys. We're the ones that are in charge here. If we take charge of this, we'll have this solved in 3 weeks. No problem. Sola says, here too, I work in 9/11 for UVA as an advanced EMT. We are now all on the edge. CDC, this is all the US, by the way. CDC gave us the protocols to follow, but we're not sure what to expect. It's kind of the same here. We have some people on standby. Hitstar makes a point there. Army drivers can stand if ambulance crew get ill. What happens if the army driver gets ill? What I'm saying is if we all get ill at once, we have a problem. If we all slow down and don't get ill at once, and try and battle our way through it ourselves without infecting other people around us, we will survive this. This is definite. The other end of this, it's not going to be the zombie apocalypse. It's not going to be prepper, we need to dig a hole in the backyard and come back up in 3 years' time. This is going to be something we'll get through very quickly, and it'll all be over, no problem. No audio here, no visual for some time. 14:49, 15:23, and I'm still okay. I seem to be running okay. I'm just going to check my OBS is showing 42%, 29 frames a second. Yeah, drop frames 0. We're all right. Anyway, feed both video and audio here, all good, grand on an Android YouTube app. I've never watched myself on an app. No, and I know I am on an app, but I've never watched myself on an app. That sounds filthy, doesn't it? What do you think this is, a porn show? Robert Steinlass says it's actually mad that it's actually safer to talk to people online than out in the public. We've never had so many ways of staying away from each other as we have these days. That's being dead honest with you. We have literally invented multiple ways that we don't have to come in contact with anyone around us. And yet, you can go on and order your shopping on Tesco.ie and they'll deliver it to your door. So you don't even have to go to the shop if you don't want to. Now, Lidl and Aldi don't offer that. I don't know if Super Value do offer that, do they? I'm not sure if they do or not, but I know Tesco's definitely does it. And Dunnes stores are just too expensive to talk about anyway most of the time. If you're not going to Dunnes, it's really expensive. Stuff is really expensive. Some things are cheap on offer, but other things are really expensive. Sorry, I'm a real housewifey type me. I do a lot. Myself and the wife here split the week up. We kind of take turns. She works, I work, she works, I work. So we take turns at cooking dinners and breakfasts and lunches and all sort of stuff. So we do a lot of the shopping, the two of us, or one of us at a time. So I'm very acutely aware how much it is to run a household every week and how much you spend in shops. And I know Aldi's getting more and more expensive. Lidl, the staff are getting nastier at times. I always find in Lidl, if there's something wrong, you're at fault. If you buy something in the shop, you walk up and you go, no, the price that's wrong. They go, no, show me now. And they go off and, this is wrong. You put this in the wrong place. You get blamed for stuff that's wrong in Lidl, which is a shame. Lidl used to be a nice place. They had nice staff. Some of the nice staff seem to be going away now. Tesco's are always very pleasant, I have to say, and Dunnes staff are always incredibly nice, but they're very expensive. Anyway, enough shopping. Dominic Galvin says, hi Bob, what do you think of the new Ford Kuga Lux, and you'll be getting a spin at him soon? I did request it from Ford Ireland, not launched yet. International launches are disappeared, so you may forget about them for a moment. I don't know if they'll be going ahead for some months now, but Ford Kuga looks okay. The previous Kuga wasn't great to drive and had a funny little sort of a dip in the front of it that I didn't really like the look of. The new one looks a bit better. Hopefully I'll get to spin on that as soon as it's launched, but it isn't launched in Ireland yet, so I don't have a touch of it. And I ain't going to the UK to drive it. Clyde Plunkett, because the UK is after herd immunity and I'm not a member of the herd. I'm in the wrong herd. Clyde Plunkett says, so many people at home now, and the internet's series of tubes are getting clogged. I don't know about that, but there's plenty of content on YouTube, but unfortunately YouTube doesn't offer it all to you. I often notice when I go into YouTube and I click my little YouTube icon on the top, it shows me lots of stuff I've already watched, because I watched the Michael Jackson joke one night here, The Evolution of Dance or something it was called. And it's an American guy who did a little dance on YouTube. It's brilliant. And I watched it, and I showed it to the kids, so they watched it as well. So we watched it twice. And ever since, that thing appears in my recommended list, as if I want to watch it third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time. It's like YouTube think you're stupid. It doesn't show me anything new. It tends to just keep me corralled in the same stuff all the time without showing me something that's different, something I might like, but it's not sure whether I like it. It just doesn't show it to me. So YouTube can be a bit of a weird one like that. Solar, I'm getting a cough now. This is not coronavirus. I'm going to cough in the mic and make you all infected. Sola Scriptura. In the US, people are buying up all the N95 masks that we could potentially get when we need in the future to place ourselves in simple masks on patients for respiratory calls. This is true. N95 masks are like charcoal. I think there's charcoal in them. Charcoal-filled masks that actually can block out viruses and things. Coronavirus is not going to kill you. Chances are it's not going to kill you, but it will kill some people. Just remember that. There are people out there who will be terrified of this. There are people out there who have kids who have COPD, who have problems with their lungs. They have all kinds of things wrong with them. So these people are scared, properly scared of this. I'm not terribly scared. My wife's not. My kids aren't. Not particularly. Bored, but not scared. Okay? So please, if there's something you can do to help, if there's some mask that you have access to that you can give to people, free them up, give them out. You're not going to need them yourself. Chances are you're not going to need them yourself, so just remember that. Stratboy999 says, I love the emergency. It sounds so urgent, Stratboy999. Self-isolation will not add to the herd immunity. Quite the opposite. Isolation simply delays the infection. Yes, but if everybody gets infected, then we'll have herd immunity at the end. As long as we don't all get infected at the one time. That is our biggest problem. Getting infected all at once puts a gigantic strain on our health system, which means, put it this way, if you're sitting at home and you're not infected by anything, not a bother on you, you're fine and it's all going well, and then one time you hit your head on the cupboard inside and knock yourself out, and it's called the ambulance, and you're not worried about this coronavirus, but when you get to the hospital, you're the 99.99 person outside in the car park trying to get seen. That's what happens when we have everybody getting infected at once. So self-isolation will slow the infection over time, so we all have a chance to get it and recover from it, and then we can move on with our lives. 101 likes at 1452. Thanks, Roberts. It's 122 at the moment. You can like more though if you want to. Like. Hit the like button. All you like. Hit the dislike button. I don't care. Hit a button. And it doesn't really matter which one you hit. As long as you hit a button somewhere, it's preferable that you hit the like button though. Don't forget, this comes out as a podcast. This is what I do, every week. Is to try, this is my job, so to speak. This is it. This is what I do for a living. So this is my job. So I rely on this kind of communication that comes out. But this will come out next week as a podcast. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you very much for downloading the podcast. Thank you. Subscribe wherever you want. Like I said, it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean. It's on other ones. If you just Google it, you find Bob Flavin podcast or Sunday Service podcast. You find it that way. China's citizens have done a good job not hoarding them. Yes. We don't know. With China, you never know. You never know the real truth behind China. You never know what they're telling you or how they're telling it to you, because it is technically a communist country. They are very locked down. They are very much at the behest of the leaders of the country. The freedom of speech there is not a big thing. There is problems there. Oh, looks like my wife is going to make me some beverage. A beverage. Shall we have a brandy and coke or something? Since we're on lockdown, we're going nowhere. So we're going to sit back and relax. Liam Cotter says, there's going to be a lot of baby coronas in 9 months, the baby boom. This is true, for sure. That's definitely going to happen, Liam. That or a lot of divorces, as people start to find out that living with one another 24 hours a day for 7 days a week will drive you insane. Oh, I'll have a tea. I'll have a Barry's tea. Yeah, please. Yeah. Tea would be nice instead of a coffee. Annie McAfee says, seen Bus Éireann running their fleet with the first 3 rows taped off with hazard tape to keep the gap to the driver. Good to see this, to be honest, proactive. It is, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, no harm to give the driver a respirator mask as well, maybe, because the driver's the most at risk, obviously, being stuck in a bus for a long period of time during the shift. So, it'd be no harm to really keep the driver safe, because there was a study carried out that I read. I don't like really quoting studies. I know the veracity of this one's okay, and I know the background of it is, but a study was carried out in China on a bus that had a number of passengers in it that was closer than 5 meters, and they all got infected, everybody on the bus. So it's definitely that in that small confined area, it's definitely got some transmissible parts to it. It works there well. If you do an @ to somebody, so you go @ Bob Flavin or whatever it is, I won't read that out. I just assume you're talking to each other and not to me, right? John Casey. There was once a lad called Bob on YouTube. No, I have to read this out in proper. This is a poem. John Casey's written. Sit. Listen back now. Here we go. There once was a lad called Bob on YouTube. He sure is the job. Until along came a virus called Corona. Now car shows are no more, but Bob will stay moving his gob. There you are. I like it. John Casey, you deserve a little medal. We'll get you a little leather medal that'll definitely serve us as something we look after you with. Thank you very much, John. It's very good. Tony S. Bob, what will happen to all the foreign car reviews or journalists across Europe? They're just going to have to sit at home and not review cars. Pretty much straightforward. I've always tried to have a few reviews in the can, so ones that are sitting unedited, ready to go. And I do. I think I have 4 or 5 of them maybe. So I could probably go 4 or 5 weeks without having another car to review and still consistently put out content. Now, the problem is for people who are working for agencies or people who are flying around, and I know a lot of these guys who are flying around Europe at car shows, at car events, car reveals, world premieres, all that kind of stuff, that's dead in the water. A lot of these guys don't have their own outlet, so they're going to have to survive the next few weeks on basically no income. Or very low income, trying to get out there and get stuff done. Barry's tea, by the way, is made in Ireland in Cork. The tea isn't. It's packed in Ireland. The tea is made in wherever tea is made. India? Do they make tea? And Africa maybe? Or is that coffee? The rest of the car reviewers, I do feel sorry for the freelancers out there who, rely entirely on invoicing outlets for work, and the work is specifically going to see cars, because right now it's going to be dead. It's going to be dead for the foreseeable future. So if you're sitting around and you're a freelancer waiting for the work to come in again, I'm telling you, be very cautious doing that one. Try and get yourself in somewhere. Try and get something done. Try and arrange something else very quickly. Don't wait, because I foresee a point where Europe is going to close its doors for a couple of months. I really do think that it's going to be difficult to get work outside of your own country in the very near future. So you're going to have to get a bit clever, and try and get there as well. Annie McAfee says, as well as hitting like, you can hit share and invite anyone you know to join in. I'm sure there are a lot of bored friends stuck in the house. There you go, you see. And I'll be on for another while yet, so there's no major panic at thinking I'm going to go away all of a sudden. But I will be going away eventually. Obviously, I have to stop talking, because quite literally when the 2 hours are up, I sit here for a good 10 minutes trying to figure out what I'm going to do for the rest of the day, because my brain just has to come down off the thinking of live answering questions, which is very weird. And I am live answering questions. I'm more than a half an hour behind you though, so unfortunately. I need to get a new watch as well. I scratched my bloody Garmin. I have a Garmin 235, which is a brilliant watch. Is it 235 or 245? Anyway, whatever one it is. It's the one I use all the time. And I put a scratch on the screen. It's got a kind of a lip to it now, so I'm afraid of it getting damaged from sweat of running or doing anything. So I'm trying to find a Garmin Fenix 5 maybe. An older one at a reasonable price. Oh God, that tea is lovely. It's making my cough and fever go down a bit. Derek Norris says all Temple bars to close immediately now. It's about time. I know people are going to be out of work because of this, but seriously, we really need to just get this done. 2 weeks, we'll have it done. Relax, stay at home, go outside, go for a walk. It's a nice sunny bright day, but that's it. Don't be going into pubs. Hasib Original says, my question, do you think the UK should go into lockdown? Yes, I do. I think it should close the schools. I think it should close and ban big outside events. And that includes things like Cheltenham races, which we're going to have 30,000 people coming back in here from Cheltenham races in the next while who are all going to be infected. Because that's just how life is. I'm going to assume they're all infected. So yes, the UK should definitely go into lockdown. Should take the lead from what the rest of the world is doing right now, and the UK isn't, which is just continuing on as normal, because it's just a flu, it's just a cold, as it's been made out to be. But the problem is the people who need emergency medical services will not be able to get it, because it'll be bogged up with people who are not emergencies. And as far as I'm aware, your NHS is already under massive pressure before this coronavirus ever came. This is what I'm aware of constantly every time I see it on TV. Dennis O'Hare says, hi Bob, keep safe. You too, Dennis, make sure you look after yourself. With all this lockdown time, will we see a Monday service? You might see a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday service, because I might be bored out of my mind and have to do something. So I might just do a live service every day, all day, 24 hours a day, talking nothing but cars. I'm going to get a book, a dictionary of cars, and just read out every car in the dictionary until I go asleep. And then I'll wake up and go again. Be great, wouldn't it? It'd make really entertaining content. I bet you'd be packed out. Do you know that? You start reading out every single car make in the world. Just kept reading all the way through. I'd say it'd be packed out. No one's nothing better to do, like. Doc Stiltonen says, there is no suggestion that having COVID-19 imparts any immunity. Not sure what that means. Take everything you read in the YouTube comments with a massive grain of salt. I don't know if that means anything about immunity. Herd immunity, I think you're talking about, which is, it's a common cold, common flu. You can get it twice, whatever it is. Look, we'll get there. Don't worry about it. That's probably not a doctor, but it could be. Who knows? Red Mantex says, Annie McAfee, you're not on lockdown. Might be soon, but not yet. Seems to be a lot of confusion about this. This is the same thing that happened here a couple of days ago. A few days ago, there are still articles sitting out there from publications that says that the HSE was going, nah, you don't need to close the schools, it'll be fine. 2 days later, the schools were closed. You don't need to close the airport. You watch what happens tomorrow, the day after, you watch those airports going to close. You'd see, I'm telling you, these things will ramp up very quickly. What you read today is out of date tomorrow. It's in the bottom of a dog box somewhere, so ignore that sort of stuff. We need to see a moratorium, that's how you pronounce that, on mortgages and loans and bills to calm fears. Businesses, especially small ones, can't afford to pay off staff. If not trading, people still need to pay their expenses. This is 100% true. A small business with 2 employees and you lay them off, how does that business, when it's closed, afford to continue paying their wages? Like, this is a big problem, boys. A lot of businesses, it may look like they're turning over millions, but they're probably only turning over a small amount, enough to pay the wages and pay themselves a wage, So you got to keep going. The uncertainty of what's coming in the future is the problem, and we need the banks on board. We need the government to take a lead, a real lead, and tell the banks, one way or the other, this is what we have to do. We have to do this. We have to moratorium everything and slow it all down so we all have a chance to catch up and get there. So no panic though, we'll be okay. This is going to be short term. We will get through this. There will be an end game to this eventually, and we will get back to some sort of normality. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I always keep reminding you that. Some of you do, some of you don't. I'm drinking my tea now. It's lovely. God, tea is so refreshing, especially when it's Irish and Barry's. Barry's. If you want to sponsor a channel, get in touch. You know who I am. You don't actually. I've never met anybody from Barry's. I am so far behind on the comments. Sorry, I'm answering comments from well over half an hour ago now. And Jan Silva says, not too much concerned here in Brazil. Most part of the country is hot as hell this time of year. Heat doesn't stop the transmission. Heat will stop things like bacteria living on surfaces that are in direct sunlight. That's fine. That will work. But transmission between someone sneezing in your face or coughing in your face, no, heat doesn't make a blind difference there, but you still will get that sort of thing. Just keep it the way it is. Keep it the way you're going, and you should be okay. But it depends on who's getting tested and who's reporting it. We've seen these spikes in reporting as more tests go out. So chances are just did more tests. That's how we went up suddenly like 40, 50 people overnight, is because we did more tests. Jan Silva says, no, sorry, Paul Glennon, dinner is ready, have to go. Bob, later, boss. No problem, Paul. Enjoy your dinner. You're going to dinner. What are you having? Come back and tell us what you have. Mouth's watering, like. Oh no, we just had lunch here, so alright. Mick says, alright fella, they stopped the Celtic Rangers game. I see. They're stopping all their games now, boys. Raymond Gray says, Bob, the coronavirus will change the way we live. Correct. It will, Raymond. You're absolutely right, and probably for the better. It'll probably stop people with filthy hands wiping them all over their trousers when they come out of the toilet and then shaking hands with you. That's what it'll probably stop. It may also stop how we travel, so how we just jump on a plane and go around the world and it's all fine, it's all okay. That'll probably change as well. You know, this idea that we don't test people when they land anywhere, we don't even remotely do it. Now remember, this is still just only a cold. Essentially it's the cold virus, just an advanced version, so this isn't like complete change of life for all of us, but something more serious, as Bill Gates puts it, could take out 10 million people very quickly, would be a virus, a serious virus. That could be a big change. Riccardo Bonetti, I have a Dacia Sandero, God love us, what a car, sorry, which has clutch judder from cold. That's an awful, I hate that. Is this a Dacia thing, or have other cars got this problem? So what causes it, please? Okay, so you've got various forms of clutch judder. One of them is when you change gears, it won't go into first or second or whatever. You know, it just won't change gears, or feels like you're changing gears through mud. That's just cold gearbox oil, cold clutch oil. Other clutch judders where the clutch is actually slipping. Now that's a different story. That's not just from the cold. Clutches don't slip from the cold. Clutches slip because they're failing, because they're starting to break. Other ones, when you're letting out the clutch, you feel the bike coming and you let the clutch all the way out and the car cuts out, right? So that's another version of clutch judders where the clutch is not engaging properly. All of them would lead me to believe that you need a new clutch. Now, if this goes away when the car gets warm, it's only because the clutch is warmed up and it's all settling into place again. It can be an awful pain in the hole to get this diagnosed properly. It's not going to be expensive if you change the clutch yourself. If you get somebody to change it, it's going to be a couple of €100, maybe more, including the part. But it's not a Dacia problem or Sandero problem particularly. It's not a Renault problem either. It's just a problem that happens to older cars as they get older. If it's a brand new car under warranty, get down to the dealership. Or if it's still under warranty, get down, because you shouldn't get anything wrong with your clutch for 10 years. More coffee says, happy Corona everybody. I hope you're drinking and taking a sip of a Corona bottle. Make sure you put a slice of lime in the top of it. Lorna says the internet is going to be a big asset during this time. 100%. My kids are all over it already. You know what else I bought the other day? Yesterday. Hold on a second. I went to the shop and bought this, which is the Sega Mega Drive Mini. So it's the mini version of it. It's tiny actually when you play it. But it's got 40 games, 2 bonus ones above it. It's absolutely deadly. Passed the last yesterday evening playing Echo the Dolphin, whatever you call it. Absolutely brilliant game. On it is Shinobi, Sonic the Hedgehog's on it as well, Street Fighter 2, House of Legends, Mickey Mouse, all that sort of stuff. It's all on it. 40 odd games, 75 quid in Harvey Norman. Also in Argos, I think, but I think they were sold out. But Sega Mega Drive Classic, it was actually listed as $84.89, but I paid $75 for it in Harvey Norman, and it's brilliant. Hooked straight up to television using HDMI. You do need a plug. It plugs in by USB to the wall. Weirdly, I've never seen that. There's no plug on the end of it though, so you just need a plug, a 3-watt plug to pull in behind that. So it's if you want to pass the time in an offline sense, in other words, if you lose the internet, like I did earlier on, and you need to plug it in, this is simple. You just plug it in and away you go. Easy peasy. Robert Mulhall, over here in Madrid, Bob, and the police drones tell people to stay home. Really? Is that what's going on? My God. How come you're over there? Do you live over there? Or are you over here and you're just over there on holidays? This is Spain at the moment. It was the breakout started in Madrid. We had some northern Spanish ones as well, some bits in Portugal. I was supposed to go to Granada in Spain, which is the kind of south down near Malaga, but we didn't go, so I was lucky because I probably would have come home definitely with coronavirus. Andrew says, I see and hear you. Different kind of hear there, Andrew. Hear is over here, and then there's here and HEAR. Put an A in it. Johnny Dub, clutch judder can be common in any car. It's usually just from cold damp. Slipping the clutch to deglaze it and get some heat into it usually works. There you go. It's good advice from Johnny Dub. Shane says, hope all is well, Bob. All is very well. Not a bother on us. We're grand. The audio and video is lagging between the two. Yeah, I know. There's something funny going on there. You see, like I said, I need to upgrade a lot of bits because the pressure on the Apple Mac from 2012 now and Logitech webcam and a mic and everything hooked into the one yoke, then fired out through broadband, is just getting a bit much. I may need to put in a hard connection to the broadband, and I might need to upgrade the computer altogether to a different computer and see what happens then. We'll see. But that all costs a bleeding fortune. See, the problem is when you don't upgrade for a while, I've never needed to really upgrade on many things, but when you don't, now the step to getting to near the latest stuff is quite big, rather than this constant upgrade cycle stuff that a lot of people do. So it can be difficult to get from where you are to where everything is now. That's the problem. So we'll see though. 223 people watching this moment was probably one of the bigger days we've had so far. Last week was huge as well. This week is equally huge. Taking a sip of my tea now. If you're listening on the podcast, that's like ASMR, isn't it? This isn't me drinking tea. Hopefully you're running or doing something useful with your time, or staying in, or I'm being broadcast through a radio or something, whatever it is. Keep yourself all safe and well. Danielle Shore, I can't pronounce that last name, sorry. In Ireland, is Ireland on a total lockdown like Italy, or just partially? Just partially. The schools are closed. Large events are closed, so anything indoors for 100 people or anything outdoors for 500 people is now banned. But I would suspect that tomorrow there's going to be more bans on anything that even involves like 10 people. I would imagine, because we have to get this right now, and it has to be done now before it becomes Italy. And that's the problem. Italy did nothing, and admitted as such, has done nothing about coronavirus for a while, and then it kind of crept up on it, and all of a sudden it had to do something, but by then they'd done nothing. So it was quite difficult. Hitstar says, I can't know any clutch judder in my EV. I wonder why you're not getting any clutch judder in an EV. That'd be a tricky one. Maybe you should get that gearbox seen to as well in the EV while you're at it. Social distancing at the moment, says Red Mantech. You're dead right. That is a good way of putting it. Not social isolation, social distancing. In other words, when you see somebody coming at you, go, no, stop, go away from me, you person. I am social distancing. It sounds thick, but it's kind of what you have to do. Daza says, hi Bob, I just drove in my estate in Blessington and watched two men shaking hands and smiling. Well, they won't be smiling very long. Maybe they both have coronavirus, then they don't care whether they got infection or not. Maybe neither of them have it and they're sure of that. But either way, it is, you shouldn't shake hands anymore. If you're going to shake hands, don't put your hand near your face, right? The Chinese were saying that they were infected through their eyes, which is why they were wearing those eye masks for so long. You can you can pick up eye infections, and that's the same as getting infected. Otherwise, you're taking it in the same way, So there's no difference whatsoever. So just keep people away from people is the trick. Danielle says, here it's like Berlin in 1943. I doubt it. I would suggest that Berlin in 1943 was a little bit rougher than it was before. Blessington pubs are busy as usual. They shouldn't be. People should be at home. Look, the strong will survive this, people. I'm telling you now. The ones who stay at home, the ones who stay safe, the ones who keep their heads clean and safe, they're the ones who are going to survive this easily. I'm going to read out this one. Listen to this one. Redman Tech says, we need the virus to spread, but slowly, to build immunity. When the vaccine is out next year, it'll all be normal again. There you go. 232 people watching at 15:27, said Robert's time lapse. It is 225 people watching at the moment. It is going down and up at the same time. So it depends on whether you're looking at it and how you're looking at it. I'm assured that most people are here to hear and talk about coronavirus and cars, which is the two things we tend to talk about here a lot. One subject often has nothing at all to do with the other subject that we talk about. Andrew says, Beware, there are fake COVID-19 test kits being sold. Be careful. There is no such thing as a COVID-19 test kit you can buy online. It doesn't exist. If it did, then the HSE would have it, or paramedics would have it, or somebody would have it who would deliver it to you. It cannot be bought online for COVID-19 tests. Don't buy it online. You don't need to be tested. The only time you need to be tested if you're going into a situation where there's responsible people there who are there to test you. That's a whole different ballgame. Someone who is nominated to do so. Marty O says, had an email from VW about the ID3. On Friday, orders taken in early April, delivery scheduled for July. Still undecided on turquoise or white. Which one do you like? I wasn't keen on the turquoise one. I have to say, white is lovely. But unfortunately, unless you go a two-tone route, it'll look like a fridge. Sorry, Volkswagen, but a white car, just a plain white Nissan Leaf or something, looks like a fridge to me going on the road. But turquoise was nice with a black roof, and it's the launch colour as well, so it'll always do well on the trade-ins. But I think I would probably go the white route. I think it's a pretty colour with a two-tone mix. Shane says, out of two, turquoise would be my choice. White is only certain lights and weather's a good choice. Yeah. I have sun shining on my shoulder, which is fabulous. John Denver had a song, Sunshine on My Shoulders Makes Me Happy. The sun is out. It's gorgeous. I'm looking forward to this spring. Should be good. Just can't talk to actual human beings out in the street about it, but it's good other than that. Marty O, you can be the only one to pick the colour you want, says Andy McAfee. There you are. You see, you pick whatever colour you like. I would go with white. Shane says turquoise. Hope the mother and newborn baby this week. First cause, no and only no such case. Both with the virus survive it would be horrible if they don't, says Mark Turner Smith. That sounds terrifying, but if the mother has coronavirus, then the child born with coronavirus, that's par for the course. Same as the things, everything crosses the umbilical cord, so everything does. That's why when you go to the hospital, you can't get anything for morning sickness. You can't get anything for being sick at all. Just told to go home and relax and take it easy. And that they don't give you any drugs because it all goes into the child. So the same would apply with coronavirus. I would say if the child was born strong, there's no reason why the child wouldn't survive this. Lorna says, I've heard cases going down in China. They're levelling out. So less and less people are being diagnosed all the time. But I still have to take that with a grain of salt. China will report what China wants to report. Their freedom of speech record there is abysmal. They do not allow people to criticize the police force or anything else in China at any time, and so whatever they say always has to be taken with a grain of salt by the Western world. It includes me. I tend to put more emphasis on what the Western world is saying about their stuff, but currently the way China's reported is that they're diagnosing less cases every day. There's less and less people getting infected with it. That could also mean that they're just not testing as many people as they did before. So just bear that in mind, that it may not be true. Andy says, sitting in work waiting on my next run and can see out over the public car park 2 tour coaches from Republic of Ireland just pitched up and emptied out about 100 very senior citizens, but now dispersing in every direction. Oh my God, that doesn't help. It really doesn't help. Danielle says, how's the situation in Dublin? Any red zones? No, currently no red zones. Currently you can go freely wherever you want to go in Ireland. That will undoubtedly change if you take advantage of it. Currently we are preaching the wash hands, wash yourself, stay social distancing, stay away from people, stay out of situations where it's nice and tight and you've no room to maneuver around you because you're getting infected all the time. The chances are, and I'm telling you this, you're already infected. The chances are that Ireland already has a fair whack of infection going across. You're just not symptomatic at the moment. You will probably getting a little bit sick, but you will more than probably recover from this and you'll be fine. Mark Turner Smith is answering someone else. Daza says, Bob, a lot of wives that won't have sex with husbands now having sex. I don't know what that means. Probably spreading coronavirus between the two. Look, if you live in a house with someone, chances are you both have it. Just that's the way it is. If you're living in somewhere with somebody else around you, you and your entire family has it if you've been around them all the time. So you'll be fine. Don't worry. Bibnik says, I have corona. Good man. I had one the other night as well, but it was a bottle with a little lemon sticking out of it. Daza says, Bob, is the VW GTE on general sale this summer? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it'll be out and going. I think I have a Passat GTE in a couple of weeks. I had the saloon one, or I did a review up of that. The superb PHEV is on the way. which will be on soon. So there's a few of those GTE type, PHEV type cars on the way from the Volkswagen group, and they're very, very good, very efficient. They all come with a 1.4 TSI engine, which is the best engine Volkswagen ever made. Don't know why they changed the 1.5. They came with the kangaroo problem. Annie McPhee says must be able to get a new screen kit for the Garmin on eBay or Amazon, and a video on YouTube how to change it, give you something to do. I was looking at that. You can do that. You need a hairdryer. You have to heat up the whole outside. Your man's going, no, don't heat up too much or too little, or too much or too little, damage it. I just lose the nerve there. I don't know what to do. But yeah, you can get a different screen, a front screen for it. So, I can't break it anymore. They've already broken it. So, but it was in constant use. I love that bloody watch. It was in constant use. Now I'm back to my G-Shock for a bit, which I do love as well. I've only got one wrist that I wear. I can't wear two watches. It would look stupid. Mini eggs. If you run out of cars review, you can bring back the garage episodes. Yeah, but I'd have to go and see Paul then, and he's probably full of diseases. Smart says, do you think schools of England... Oh, wait, no, hang on, just jumped on me there. Come on, back up again. Oh my God, there is millions of questions. I always get a bit scary when I see how many questions there are to answer yet. Smart says, do you think schools in England shut? Yes, they should. Of course they should. Why wouldn't you? Like, what's the problem? Everywhere else is doing it. Denmark has closed its borders entirely. Poland has closed its borders entirely. Spain is closing up as well. I'd say Ireland probably will in the next, because Ireland's an island. It's great here. Like, you have to swim to Ireland. It's not like you can drive here from somewhere else. So I'd say Ireland will probably follow suit in that as well. We're being very proactive in this country. Great amount of community spirit to the whole thing. I think that's what you'd probably call it. Great community spirit behind it. We don't see it as the government doing anything wrong. We see it as they're going too slow. They need to hurry up and do everything and just get it done. That's the Irish mentality right now. It's just, it'll be grand. Close the schools, close everything down. We'll all have a drink at home, and then we'll go back to work later on. It'll be fine. The Bozzy people of Blessington are buzzing in the pubs. What's buzzing? See what he says. If you do a Sunday service every day, I'm going out and licking all the bus handles so I can have a week off. I love it, Steve-O. Nice, good job. Give yourself the coronavirus, then come here and stay here every day, and we'll have a Sunday service every day. Just call it the Monday service, the Tuesday service, the Wednesday service, and so on. Daza says, because COVID-19 outbreak zone is NACE 27 cases. Be grand. It'll be okay. Look, what happens is a lot. The tester guys will go to an area and they will test a pile of people in one area. So they stand beside the road, they test you in cars and test you wherever they can find you. And what happens is then, because they tested in that area, that's where all of the cases start out. So they go after it that way. So it could be Naas, it could be somewhere else. We could all have it. Don't panic. Stay at home. Get your food in. Get a few beers in. Pay for Netflix. Get a movie. I watched Mad Max 2 last night actually as well. You know that? Great movie. I must make a video about the cars of Mad Max 2. There's a lot of recognisable cars in Mad Max 2. There's a few in Mad Max 1 as well that are quite recognisable. There's a few ordinary cars in that one. Mad Max 3, no, that's got nothing. And Fury Road has a few, but it's quite hard to figure out which ones they are because they're so completely massively changed. But Mad Max 2 has actually got a good few cars and you can recognise, and I love that movie. It's one of my favourite movies of all time. National Scallywag says Lions Tea Gold Blend is the best tea, also Irish. It's not Irish. Enjoy the cabin fever, Bob. It's not Irish. Lions Tea is not Irish. Lions Tea is owned by a UK company. They also make Tetley, I think. But Lions Tea was Irish, but it isn't Irish anymore. The sun is moving. It's starting to appear out. It's coming onto my face now. Very soon. That sounded rough, but that's not what I meant. I meant the sun is appearing out and starting to shine on my face. And it's now 4 p.m, but we'll keep going because we had a pause in the middle of it because my power went down here. But all seems to be well now. We're still holding still and everything's going fine. But Lions Tea is not Irish. Barry's Tea is made in Cork. Lions Tea is English. Mark Turner Smith says, you are correct, Bob. The UK NHS service has been on the brink for some years. Ambulance services can't cope. See, that's what I'm saying. NHS is always under massive pressure because it's free. Because technically the NHS is free, whereas we charge here. So there's a little bit of a barrier. You can get seen a little bit quicker. Not much better here, to be honest with you. Really, seriously, it's not much better here. But it's not going to get any better if we all end up in hospital in one go. Derek Norris says, little bird told me the army out on Tuesday with Garda car and stickers on the side of the car saying Garda. No, not the army will not be posing as Garda, but the Garda have hired a number of extra vehicles, so you will see civilian looking cars with the word Garda on the side. There might be army people in the back of them, but they are not the guards. The army cannot portray themselves as Garda unless we go into a totally different system here where we'd have martial law. That would allow this civil authority to take over as well as being the army. So the army can only enforce like any other army, the way armies do, but they cannot pose as Garda. But yes, you will see from next week some Garda cars on the road that are standard looking civilian cars, oddball sort of Renault hire cars they are essentially, with the word Garda on them. If you suspect, if you're being pulled over by one of these cars on the side of the road and you don't think it's a Garda, keep driving. Drive to the local Garda station, pull in front of it. If they want to talk to you, then you say, listen, I didn't think you were a guard. It didn't look like a guard to me. I thought I was getting scammed. So you have my full permission. And if anyone has a problem with that, they can contact me directly if you were a Garda. But I will certainly advise anybody that if you think you're being pulled over, you see a blue light behind you or whatever, and you think it's the guards behind you, you're not sure, continue driving to the local Garda station. Don't stop for anybody. Danielle says, an economic collapse is almost certain. I don't believe you. And I don't believe that outcome either. I think that is the American kind of prepper thing coming through here. I think it's a lot of what you read on the internet about economic collapse. I think we'll have an economic reversal to some degrees. We'll take it off. We continually tell poor people how rich people are. You know, when we talk about the investments online and we talk about the Dow Jones and all these sorts of, that's massively rich people telling poor people how well they're doing. Okay, so I don't believe that we're going to have an economic collapse. I don't believe that's possible, because it would just destroy everything, and nobody wants that. Nobody is going to get that. Who's going to collapse it? Exactly. Coronavirus on its own, like a virus, is going to collapse the whole thing. It's not going to work. John Casey says, from Monday to Saturday we wait. Driving cars sure is great, but Bob comes along on the 7th day and makes mighty viewing after we pray. So all you viewers donate. Thanks, John. You're very kind. Yes, you can donate to the channel if you wish. There is links down below for doing that. You can do it by Super Chat. You can do it by PayPal, Patreon. Anyway, like, look, just give me cash in the bleeding street, but just keep your social distance from me when you're doing that, right? Turn it into a little paper airplane. Throw it across the road at me. Be grand. I'll collect it later. Trying to catch up on who's been deleted. Andy McAfee has been doing the ban hammer on some people, so we're okay. Mark Turner Smith says, I think this crisis will definitely be the last breaking point for the UK's Vauxhall plant. Can Vauxhall ever recover? Remember the days of the fast M3 Cavaliers, Astra Nova GTE? That was the last of what Opel and Vauxhall put out, in fairness, that was even remotely good. They went wrong with the Vectra, and then the Astra was a bit tame and got worse. And so there's so many problems that they had over the years that it became this really difficult point of trying to get people back into Opel, Vauxhall over time. And then they end up being sold. Now they're belong to Peugeot Citroën PSA. So God knows where that's going to end. And the sun is still absolutely blaring in here. Right, it's like somebody turned a laser. You know, it's millions and millions of miles away. This is like the Holy Spirit going straight into my face. Can you imagine that? National Scallywag says the Garda had to rent a clatter of cars so that they could explain random cars with Garda livery. It will, yes, certainly, but there will be people out there who will try and take advantage of the doubt in your mind, the situation right now. So if you're not sure that it's a Garda coming at you, if they're not wearing a uniform, drive on. The door's locked. You will not be prosecuted for it. I promise you will not be prosecuted for it. So, but most of these Garda cars that they have now will just be transporting Garda to places to do things while they're there, so they won't be trying to arrest anybody with these cars. It'll just be Garda transport. So they will have more cars on the road at the moment. It shows the lack of investment in our lovely Garda over all these years, that we have to hire cars in a state of emergency instead of having enough cars for the Garda to drive in the first place. Look at the sun. Oh my God, isn't that beautiful? The sun is gorgeous out today. Robert Steinlass says, going to have a board games night with the fans tonight. Can't beat an old-fashioned fun. That's true. We have Twister, and we have a good few board games there in fairness. We have also got games as well on our computers which are like board games. Colin Malone says, I got to leave Spain last night. Lucky I have a granny flat vacant on my home. I'm self-isolated for 2 weeks. I went to a VW dealer in Spain a few days ago. A sales lad said he can't wait. He can't shift the e-golfs. Well, Spain is an awful difficult place to sell electric cars. Have you seen the size of Spain? Like, it's very big. JP Delvin says, still no lockdown here in Belfast. Lol, your typo flagged for review there. That's true, yes. Byron says that movie Ghost on Bob's shoulder, right there, see it here, it's over here. No light needed today, all clear, all out sevens out there. It is beautiful, beautiful afternoon. It's going to be gorgeous. We're going to have to go for a walk for sure. Out to the forest, middle of nowhere, isolation like, so nobody can find us. The Singing Shade, first deliveries of the Tesla model took place this weekend. The reviews of this EV might be a great distraction from the coronavirus. Don't know about that. It's a good car, but it looks weird. Come on, you can't tell me the Model 3 looks well. It looks okay for an electric car, but it's not fantastic. I actually watched, what do you call him? Not terrible, I can't remember his name now. Harry's Garage model of the Tesla Model 3, and he was bang on, absolutely bang on. Good car, great car, frustrating to use at times because of the infrastructure. The Tesla infrastructure is the best infrastructure of all. Honestly, it is. The Tesla supercharger units are exactly where you want them to be, and they work every time you walk up, put up the car, and it just works. I love that. Unlike the ESB network or all the rest of the networks, which only works sometimes. Cross 13 is a regular reviewer. I met him a couple of times. He is buying a Model 3 Performance yet, and I don't know if he has it. He hasn't. Maybe he's still out driving it. Maybe he's self-isolating in his Model 3. Currently playing video games, which is where I would be. Raman Roman says, hey mate, what's in the fridge? What's in my fridge? I have a chicken. We have a chicken for dinner. Yeah, my missus says, yeah, we're having a roast chicken for dinner. So now, there you are. That's what's in my fridge. David Tilbrook says, the cases in Iran seem to be more severe, maybe mutated. Could be. We don't know. There is 2 strains of COVID-19. There's a more severe one which started out in China first and seems to have tamed off after that. That sun is literally blasting in top of my face now. I'm burning at this stage. That's actually hot, that sun. Yeah, would you just close the one that's on this side? Over here. The one on the left. The one on the left. Yeah, that one. My wife is currently managing the sun. Ah, yeah. That's better. Thanks to the lighting engineer, that is my wife. We'll continue going for another little while yet, because we cut off in the middle of that, so there's a little bit to go. There could be a mutated strain. We don't really know, David. It'd be unlikely, but we'll see what happens. Hey, Johnny Dub, what's in the fridge? He's asking Johnny Dub what's in the fridge as well. Roland, what's in the fridge? He can't even spell fridge properly. Are you serious? Anyway, world recession imminent? No, I don't think so. I doubt it. Knuckle down. We'll be fine. We will be okay. Don't worry. Don't start running the banks or taking the money out. You don't have to worry about it. It'll be okay. Mark Turner Smith says, yes, I can confirm no COVID-19 test kits that genuine or work are available by any other means than paramedic crews or hospital A&Es. Don't be faked by the internet. If you are online trying to sell like diet pills or trying to sell some sort of a cream or a lotion that cures COVID-19, or you're selling COVID-19 test kits that don't work, you know what? You deserve to get infected and just stay there and maybe die from it even, because that's just pathetic to try and make money from people's fear. You know, that's a terrible way to make money. Awful. Marty O says he wants a white model ID3, but she who must be obeyed wants a turquoise. Would you want a turquoise car? No, my missus is shaking her head. No, she says no to turquoise. So no. Death toll now 35 in England. That's awful. That is awful. Hopefully things will work out for them. I know I bought a bag of avocados for good fats. Good fats. Bought avocados. Cliff says, hi Bob, watched your interview with Craig Breen earlier week. God, that's a long time ago. Good old Craig is still on the go though. In fairness to him, he's really good. Has your interest in motorsport waned since, or do you not see it as a feasible as a content? It's difficult to arrange it, Cliff, would be the problem. Motorsport is heavily governed by the Motorsport Authority, which means you need to have a permit and a pass to go along to any of the events as a journalist. That's number one. Number two, if you put the content up, they sometimes don't like it. They'll claim it as their own, as if there's these licenses you have to go through. I absolutely had a great time with Craig. We had a lovely time. I went down to his house, met him there. We went training afterwards and stuff. It was a great old time, and I've kept in touch with him up and down ever since. I have a great interest in it, but it's very difficult to navigate your way through all the licenses required, on the permits and passes. I'm much more of a kind of turn up and do it, and let's just do it and stop worrying about it after. That's me. So I haven't lost interest in it, but I would love to see it more of the content. It's finding time to do all the content and make sure you get paid for it. Not so many people watch those kind of things, those interviews. I get, like, you make more out of making one review and putting it up, and maybe 80,000 people watch it. You put up one interview which takes an entire day and then 3 days to edit the thing, and maybe 5,000 people watch it. So it's hard to make it, unless it's sponsored by somebody, it's very hard to do them. Total, can't do that, what the rest of that is. My kids are not going. I'm in UK own choice. Good man. He's keeping his kids at home. There you go. You see, there's always a way around it. Mark Turner Smith says, also people in the UK. And I'll come back to also people in the UK, if you think you may be infected, contact 111, then suitable protocol put in place. Don't go direct to the doctor's surgery or A&E hospital. That advice stands here in Ireland as well. There is a link in the comment down below to take you to the official HSE website on coronavirus and what to do if you think you have it. Do not go to the A&E if you think you have coronavirus, unless you have some other drastic problem. Then you call an ambulance, okay? And the HSE will send someone around to you, rather than you going to the hospital and bogging up the whole system with a bleeding cold, right? Peter Dolan got breathalyzed the other day at a Garda checkpoint. All good, but the Garda handed me the breathalyzer to hold myself, and was thinking after, do the sanitized unit for moving to the next person. The nozzle that comes off the top, right? So I actually have a breathalyzer here on the table, which is AlcoSense Elite 3. And it comes with a little straw. Okay, so this is a home kit. You can buy this at home. These aren't cheap, by the way. So you put the nozzle in here, you turn it on, and you blow into it, and you wait 40 seconds. Or you blow it after it tells you to blow into it. The nozzle then disconnects, and they hand it to you. This is what you do on roadside. I've had this. They hand it to you, take it with you. The fresh nozzle goes in then for the next person. The kit, this bit here, is not sterilized. No, but you don't go anywhere near it as you're being breathalyzed. You don't touch it anyway, so it makes a difference. Actually, they'd probably stop the breathalyzing now at this stage, because it hardly want guards out there getting lads blowing dirty air into their faces. Daz, why do you think Ford fell behind getting electric and hybrid cars so wrong? A falling out between Ford US and Ford Europe, and was not helped by Ford Australia. But basically, the car, they just didn't see it coming. A lot of them did not see this coming, this move over to electric. And it's still not here, by the way. We're still only 2.5%, 3%, 4% of the whole market. So let's not get ahead of ourselves thinking that electricity is just taking over. But basically, Ford had done no work on electricity up to this point, whereas BMW had done tons of work and then stopped working on it. So you got this disconnect between what was happening in the real world and what they were investing in the future. That's really all that happened. Not that much of a difference. Dominic Gavin says, Bob, a good film to watch on Netflix is Pandemic. I like it. Pandemic's another one. That's two panic movies that we're going to be watching tonight for the crack. Nigel Gordon says the energy rating refers to the number of kilowatts used an hour. So regardless of how it works, if it uses 7 kilowatts and your tariff is 10p per kilowatt, then it will cost 70 pence an hour. EV, huge future electric bills. Very possibly. But I mean, how big is your petrol and diesel bill right now? Like, what are you spending? 70, 80, 90 pound a week on on petrol, diesel? Do you think you're going to spend that much on electricity? I don't think so. Plus, no one runs an electric shower for an hour unless you want to be withery, like have withered fingers and toes or something. You're not going to run it for an hour. So 70 pence for a hot shower for a whole hour is quite cheap, as far as I can think of. I'm not dissing what you're saying. I'm agreeing with you to some degree. But electric cars are not very expensive to charge. It costs me to charge an 80 kilowatt battery that I had it here in the Mercedes EQC, which is not great range, only 300 kilometers. But to charge that out there was cost about €9. Total, full, from empty, more or less. Looking out the window still from my ivory tower here to the public car park, I can see twin ESP EV charging points, still with red lights of death over the months. That's the story of those EV charge points' life at the moment. They don't seem to be repairing them. Zach says, Bob, my brother John says it's a hoax. He's a big fan of yours. Please tell him if COVID is real. Of course COVID is real. What is the purpose behind a hoax this size? Think about that for a minute. Just think about the logic. Who makes money from this, and are they making any money from this? No. This is sending the world into a tailspin. Everybody's losing money. Pharmaceutical companies are earning nothing because there is no cure. There's no nothing. Sure, who's making money out of it? The people who make hand sanitizer? I don't think so. I doubt it. This is a common cold, but it's got out of control. Effectively, we need to become immune to this one. It'll go into the series of things that are part of the coronavirus group, which includes the flu, includes common cold, includes all kinds of avian flus and Spanish flu years ago, SARS. They're all from the same family. We just need to become immune to it. It'll all be fine. But if you just do it properly, then the pressure's not on the HSE or on the NHS or whoever it is you got. And he says, UK government advice to public transport workers is that you are no more at risk of infection than any member of the general public currently, yet exchanging money for tickets and folk coughing on you. Well, you are at more of a risk because you've more strangers sitting in the bus with you, and they all get off and new strangers get on. So you're it's like being a taxi driver. You're more susceptible to get this than I am because I'm not a taxi driver. Byron says, I wonder, will the Kona-19 affect us with the cold soul and black hearts? A different kind of Kona-19. Where did it grow all that Irish tea? No, I did say that it's packed in Ireland. The tea is from India or somewhere, but it's not Irish tea. It is packed in Cork though. Blonde hat see if you load it. Okay, we're going to do one breathalyzer test. I'm going to do a video on this, by the way, and I'm going to get a few more of these together. This is part of the stuff that's waiting. I have to wait 40 seconds now, and you have to get this serviced at a cost of €25 once a year, once every 365 days. Just remember that. So this is a little bit of an ongoing cost. I'll take the plastic out the front so you can see it properly. Look at hold on. We're going to do this in camera. See the little plastic out the front of it? You got to get this done right. Hang on. Untouched by human hands. It's so new. 16 seconds, 15 seconds. Hold on, we're going to blow into this. I'm going to do a breathalyzer test right here on camera. I don't have any alcohol in me since last night. I'd say I'd be gone by now. It's 4 o'clock in the day. 4 seconds. Here we go. There we go. Going to get the results in a second. See them live on screen. Low means empty, means nothing on these jokes. So it doesn't mean that there is some alcohol. This is very low. If there was any alcohol, it would give a reading. So it actually says 0 point something on the screen in front of you. I might be able to show you the last one, because I've been doing these tests at night time. There's one from a few days ago. So 0.18. The limit in Ireland is 0.5. The limit in the UK is 0.8. There's 0.21, a reading taken at night time. So just after drinking a glass of wine, I think it was. So can't get any higher than that. That's the lowest. They've all been low up to that point. The highest has been 0.21. So I could actually technically still drive with that in me at 0.21. I don't drink and drive on any level. And I mean, the minute we have wine here in the evening time, the minute they start to take us up out of it all, it's done. We don't drive any further. And that's the end of that. Just so you know. Watch Outbreak the other day. What's your thoughts on, say, the news of Holland failing a few weeks ago? Could be the Aussies crying over here. I love the day the burnouts nationwide did the honour of the Holden's death. Holden is a car company in Australia, which would have been GM, part of GM Group, part of Opel. Holden's would have been something that we've seen a lot of in Holden Commodores and all those kind of different brands that were against each other for years in Australia. They were a massive company and they're gone. Effectively, they're finished. They're all over. So it really did hurt there. It's going to hurt the Australian economy as well. They're not making their own cars anymore. It definitely does hurt everybody when we lose a car brand of any kind. Bob, will EV charge points ever become common as fuel stations? I hope to be more common than fuel stations. That's the whole point. We should have 50 of them everywhere we go. Every town should have like 50 of them dotted around the place. Makes really straightforward stuff. But they're pretty much as common right now as petrol stations. So, you know, they're pretty much everywhere. In nearly every town. Not all working, but nearly everywhere. Right, folks, it is now 16:20, so I've made up for the time that we missed out in the middle of it, and we're coming to the end of it now. Thank you very much for joining me again this week. I will definitely be back next Sunday. I might have a beard and be a little bit scalier and a bit sicker by then, but I'll be back next Sunday. Stay in isolation. Phone people, FaceTime people, use the internet, use WhatsApp, use whatever you can to keep in touch with everyone around you, but don't try to go and visit people wherever possible. Don't go to the pub. Try to stay out of the shops as much as possible. Try to spend as little time as you possibly can with other people at the moment. But stay here on the channel, right? Send me messages. I'll try and answer everybody's message. I got so many more messages since this has started recently. So we'll keep this up as much as we possibly can. Thank you very, very much for joining me again today. It's been such a pleasure to have everybody here. You're so cool, you lot. I really do like you all. I have to find a little thing to turn it off. There we go. You're really such a great bunch of people. It's been such a busy day again today. Thank you all for all the donations you've sent, and for the donations you send in the future is really, really important. That keeps going as much as possible. Stay safe, stay indoors, stay out of trouble, and keep everybody happy in the house. Look after yourselves, and until the next time, I will see you on the far side.